the video. Till he joins, put our video. You play from here. Niftam video. 4 minutes video, so it will help. Popularly known as Niftam Tanjavur, coming under the Ministry of Food Processing Industries, Government of India.
कर नहीं देख पाता, यहाँ से नहीं।
Yes.
Sir, good morning, sir.
Good morning. I think you can start. Joint secretary, join.
Yes, sir. Okay.
Good morning.
Priya, please start.
Yes, ma'am. A very good morning to one and all. The most respected chief guest, Shri Divesh Deval, IAS, Joint Secretary, Ministry of Food Processing Industry, Government of India, and an Honorable Director of NIFTAM Tanjavur, Dr. V. Palanimuthu, sir, distinguished guests and speakers for technical session, ladies and gentlemen, a pleasant morning to one and all. With immense pleasure, I would like to share that today's webinar is on cereals, pulses, and millet processing and value addition, and has been organized under the banner of Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav.
Priya, you are not audible. Priya?
Yes, ma'am. I am audible now?
Yeah,
Yes.
now it's audible.
Okay. A very good morning to one and all. The most respected chief guest, Shri Devesh Deval, IS Joint Secretary, Ministry of Food Processing Industry, Government of India, and Honorable Director Sir, of NIFTAM Tanjavur, Dr. V. Palanimuthu, distinguished guests and speakers for technical session, ladies and gentlemen, a pleasant morning to one and all. With immense pleasure, I would like to share that today's webinar is on cereals, pulses, and millet processing and value addition has been organized under the banner of Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, promoting the Atmanirbhar Bharat as a part of PMFME scheme. May I invite Dr. Via Sinija Ma'am, Professor and Head of Food Processing Engineering and PMFME Coordinator at NIFTAM Tanjavur for the welcome address, please. Thank you, ma'am. Yes.
Thank you, Priya. Most respected chief guest, Shri Devesh Deval, IAS, Sir, Joint Secretary, Ministry of Food Processing Industries, our respected director, sir, and eminent speakers from various organizations, and dear participants from across the country, colleagues, a pleasant morning to one and all. So as we all aware, we are now coming to the finishing point of this PMFME scheme launched by Ministry of Food Processing Industries in the year 2020 with the aim of upgrading 2 lakh micro food processing enterprises scattered across the country. So at this moment, I am proudly saying that this is one of the best schemes which we have ever seen for the last few years, which has run successfully and accomplished that target of upgrading or helping the 2 lakh micro food processing enterprises. So big salute to our entire ministry team led by our joint secretary sir, and also all the state nodal agencies and the PMFME project management team, as well as the two NIFTAMs, which have contributed huge for successful running of this scheme. So today, this is the 37th webinar which we are hosting from NIFTAM Tanjavur under this PMFME scheme. And today's webinar is on processing of cereals, millets, as well as pulses. So as the consumer behavior is changing every day, this topic is very important, and which is actually the backbone of India. We can say it like that, because the cereals, pulses, as well as the millets, these are only giving the food security as well as the nutritional security to major part of our country. And many of the states and union territories have selected some of these as the ODOP commodity in their respective districts also. So today we got the very special chief guest for this webinar inauguration. That is none other than our Joint Secretary Sir, Shri Devesh Sir. Sir is the officer in charge for implementing this PMFME scheme from our ministry, and not only supporting for the implementation of this scheme, also supporting all the activities and motivating all the motivating and guiding us in all the day-to-day activities of NIFTAM Tanjavur also. So thank you so much for accepting our invitation and be here with us for today during this inaugural session. On behalf of entire NIFTAM T family and also on behalf of all the participants who are attending this webinar, I extend a very warm welcome to you, sir, for this inaugural session. Welcome you, sir. Next, I would like to extend a heartfelt welcome to our director, sir, who is always the backbone for implementing all such activities in our institute. So, on behalf of all the participants and the entire NIFTAM T family, extend a very warm welcome to you, sir, for this inaugural session of this webinar. Welcome, sir. And then our eminent speakers from various organizations as well as industries who have agreed to deliver the sessions today. And I would like to extend a warm welcome to all the speakers, and I am very much sure that all these deliberations will be very useful for all the participants who have joined today for this webinar. So welcoming you all on behalf of NIFTAM T family. And next, our participants. Actually, you are the biggest support for us because without you, we cannot organize these type of webinars. Always we are getting overwhelming response from our participants. Today, even though it's a very short notice, we got nearly 2,400 registrations for this webinar. And I could now itself in this WebEx platform itself, nearly 600 people joined, and apart from our YouTube links and all. So thank you so much for all your support extending towards NIFTAM T. And on behalf of our director and entire NIFTAM T family, I extend a very warm welcome to all of you for this inaugural session of this webinar. Next, I also welcome all my colleagues who have joined online for this webinar inaugural session. And so with these words, I hope that this seminar, this webinar will be very useful for the entire participants and all the deliberations. Please attend carefully and gain your knowledge. So once again, thank you everyone and also welcoming everyone for the inaugural session. Thank you. Jai Hind.
Thank you so much, ma'am. May I now invite for today's program an Honorable Chief Guest, Sri Devesh Dewal, Sir, IAS Joint Secretary, Ministry of Food Processing Industries, Government of India. He is an IAS officer of the 2004 batch from the Manipur Cadet, a direct recruit entered via the UPSC services. Currently posted as a Joint Secretary, Ministry of
I
Food
think it's
Processing.
not required. Yeah, it's not required. No? There's no
Sir.
need for this biodata and all, right?
Sir, okay, sir. Thank you so much, sir, for accepting our invitation and being with us in the program. May I now request, sir, for the inaugural address, please, and guide us. Thank you so much.
So, very good morning to everyone. Thank you, Dr. Sinija, for a warm welcome and for your kind words. Very good morning to Dr. Palanimuthu, our beloved director of NIFTAM Tanjavur, always a source of energy and inspiration for us. All our distinguished guests for today, all the panelists, the speakers, and all our colleagues who have joined us in this webinar. Very good morning to all of you from Delhi. Not much to say from my side, but just a few things I like to mention upfront. Number one, Madam, we intend to do this program very regularly. We had organized one last time with NIFTAM Kundli, a webinar for our PMFME beneficiaries and the entire formations at the ground level. That time the topic we had kept was the modern technologies in food processing, and this time we have chosen millets, and we intend to do it on an alternate basis. So please do not treat me as chief guest. I'm also part of this program. So let us from next time, we are just doing it together. So, let us make it a bit less formal. There's no need for, we're just part of the same team. I mean, I think suffice to say that. Second, I see our Dr. Saab, Dr. Pranimuthu wearing this band. Dr. Saab, we wish you very good health very soon and hope the next time we meet, you will not be requiring this band to wear. So we wish you good health. Friends, I mean, and one more thing is, Dr. Sinija mentioned in her initial remarks that the scheme is ending. So let me clarify to all of you that it's only a cycle. So 5 years have lapsed since the scheme was started. Now it is due for renewal. So that process is going on. I mean, we are very sure that the scheme will be extended for another 5 years. It is currently with the Ministry of Finance, and not only our scheme, all the schemes, because they generally are co-terminus with the financial, finance commission cycle, which got over last year. Then all of them are extended for one more year. So beyond 31st March of 2026, government has given extension till 30th September to all the schemes in Government of India. So all of us are at different stages. We had done a massive consultation last year with the states. We have proposed a few changes, and that is under consideration of the Finance Ministry. So we hope that we'll be coming with very good news regarding the further continuation of the scheme. So let us be clear to all of us that it is not as if the scheme is ending. It is in all probability going to be extended. Now coming to our webinar, what makes us most happy about our scheme of PMFME is that we are able to connect with the small micro enterprises, the small players, and of late we get to travel to various states. We meet our entrepreneurs in action at their own places, and it is so gratifying to see them. They make a small beginning, and all of them are growing and doing so well. So the basic, the challenge for us and this satisfaction that we derive is how do we pass on knowledge and information to those beneficiaries, to those micro enterprises who may not be located in the big cities or may not be very conversant with the use of technology. So that is why, to bridge that gap, we have started this webinar series. Of course, NIFTM Tanjavur has a very strong outreach network. As Madam mentioned, they have done 37 webinars till now. That's a huge number. That's a massive accomplishment. But from our scheme side also, we'll really want that we take it further on a very regular and systematic basis. So, so this is the context. And today's topic also is very relevant because it is on cereals, pulses, and millets. You're aware that we have 16 subcategories within food processing, and of those 16 subcategories, the number one is cereals and pulses in terms of the applications received and sanctioned both. So no doubt this is the most popular category. Most of the people readily connect with cereals, pulses, and when they want to start some enterprise, perhaps this is the first thing that comes to their mind. So it is also very relevant in that sense that we are able to touch the maximum people. So it's important. Millets also, last few years there's a increased focus on millets. We have millets as ODOP in 21 districts in the country. More than 5,000 or I think 5,500 micro enterprises engaged in millet processing are currently working under our scheme in the entire country. So it's a big number, it's a big segment, it's a growing segment. And as we pay focus on healthier and nutritious food, I think millet based products are going to get more and more important. So it's very good that we have millets also in today's session. And I was looking at the the list of the speakers. I mean, they come from very eminent institutions from Mumbai, Hyderabad, Bangalore, Mysore, Chennai. I mean, these are the best of the institutions. We really look forward to listening to them. And my request to speakers is that we have requested all our state teams to join. Some of the DRPs also have joined. So please also keep some time for interaction. If they have any questions, please entertain those questions with them also. And they are your messengers, because the ultimate beneficiaries, must be in lakhs. So not able to connect with them through webinar, but our staff at the state level, district level, and the DRPs, they are connect with the potential and the prospective entrepreneurs. So the more they understand about what we are talking here, the more they will be able to populate their message further down. So I think these were my initial thoughts. I wish the webinar and the consultation today a great success. I would have loved to stay back the whole time, but there are some other meetings, so I have to go for that. But our officers, Mr. Arunav, our Deputy Secretary, and our Mr. National Program Coordinator at NPMU, Mr. Tiwari, will be there. And I'll also request if we can get a small write-up after the webinar on what was discussed and what were the major takeaways from this webinar. So that also serves as a learning for us. And before I conclude, one last submission from my side. The next Monday and Tuesday, we are holding PMFME conclave in New Delhi. We have sent invites to all the states, and we have selected some DRPs and DNOs also from various states. So we also look forward to welcoming you in Delhi on 24th and 25th of August. And events like this will fit in very well into what we are planning to do through the conclave. So I think I look forward to seeing a few of you at least at the conclave. So with these words, I'll close my remarks here, and I wish you all the very best and very happy and successful deliberations. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir. Now, I would like to invite our Honorable Director, Sir, Dr. V. Palanimuthu, sir, to you all. Sir obtained his Bachelor's in Engineering in Agriculture from TNU Coimbatore.
Priya,
Yes, sir.
close it. I'll directly speak.
Okay, sir. Okay, fine.
On time.
Okay. Thank you so much, sir. For now, I request Director, sir, to kindly facilitate the. Sorry, sir. May I now invite Dr. V. Palanimuthu, sir, for presidential address, please.
Good morning. Namaskar to all of you. Respected Secretary, Joint Secretary, Institute Division and PMFE in charge in the Ministry of Food Processing Industry, Government of India, Shri Devesh Devalji, IAS, very inspiring man, and along with him, couple of deputy secretaries and joint program coordinator of PMFE from the ministry side in Delhi, and various people from nodal agencies, the various states, and district resource person, taluk resource persons, and many other people. Good morning to all of you, and of course, our PMFE cell from Neptam Tanjavur, including the coordinators and other staff, and all the participants. Thank you very much for your overwhelming response. Usually, we get about 5,000 to 6,000 people for PMFE webinars. This time we had only 4 days. So still we had, I think, registration about 2,600 or 700. And I see more than 650 people already joined. Maybe YouTube and Facebook is not accounted. 800 people joined. Facebook and YouTube we will count at the end. Maybe in the report we will give you, sir. And our webinars are very, very popular because we bring the best of the best people in the country for all our PMFE webinars. And this is the only webinar we conduct free. Otherwise, all other webinars are paid webinars, which we get about 500 people regularly. And this webinar, very interesting topic, which covers a large area, cereals and millets, then pulses, processing and value addition, is a very huge area. Usually, PMFE webinars, we'll focused attention is given for a particular crop, say pomegranate or a coffee, some coconut like this. So this is a wider the topic, and we have really very good speakers from ICT Mumbai, and then CFTRI Mysore, then US Bangalore, and then in some millet research from ICR Hyderabad. We have very good speakers, and also from Chennai. I think it may be marketing, something like that. And this particular webinar, I have very many resource persons. They will bring you the latest technologies which are possible now, which are available for PMFE beneficiaries to really think of, to upgrade themselves. We produce a large amount of grains. We produce nearly 376 million tons of grains. And in this, cereals alone contribute about nearly 350 million tons, wherein rice is about 154 and wheat is about 120. And of course, cereals, which includes maize, 50. Coarse cereals about 74 million tons, which includes maize, about 50 million tons. Jowar is about, Bajra is again coming second, about 11, 10.85. And Jowar is about nearly 10, 9.5. And these core cereals, in that ragi alone contributes about 2 million tons, and barley 1.8. All other small millets put together, that is foxtail, little, kodo, barnyard, brown top, all these millets put together, which account for about only 0.38 million tons. We export a lot of cereals, mostly without any much value addition. In the sense, we deval and send it. Now we export about 15 million tons worth about 51,000 crores to various countries, including US, UK, West as well as Middle East countries. And then basmati rice alone about 8 million tons, which were valued about 50,000 crores. Millets, as such, though we have an international year of millets, which was declared by our Honorable Prime Minister a few years back. Because of that, millets, day in, day out, in the households, we hear this name, millets, millets, millets. But the contribution, their production is very low. And because it is grown in a very marginal soils and with very scanty rainfall, we produce very little, 0.38 million tons. But export is about 350,000 tons, and I think it's worth this. It's worth this. I just have a look at the data. I think it's about 543 crores. It was the millet export last year. These are latest figures. Third advanced estimate from 25-26. The thing is, we export most of the commodities as a raw material only. We need to really improve this aspect. We have to convert into value-added product. PMFE scheme as a ODOP, it really benefited a huge number of beneficiaries in this country. 2 lakh units we have already dispersed the amount from the ministry. That is a huge achievement. And imagine at least 4 to 10 people will be benefiting from each unit. That means it's a very, very significant number, and it really directly impacts the rural economy. That is very important. It's very difficult to for any government program to improve the rural economy, and this one program really helps in a big way. And I'm sure we had a earlier millet processing separate webinar also on rice as well. I'm sure. And with this, what I really would like to impress upon all the participants, really, you have a wonderful speakers here, and listen carefully. And if at all you need any assistance, we are ministry as well as the couple of NIPTMs, we are always available for your support and benefit from our technical expertise or from our incubation facilities. And I'm sure this webinar will really benefit each one of you who are attending today. I think right now the number is 891, and plus YouTube and Facebook. Other channels also we will not have a count. And thank you very much for ministry to give an opportunity to conduct this webinar. Sir, all the 37 webinars are under PMFE schemes. Sir, other our webinars are not accounted here. Our departments also conduct webinars, all paid programs. And only PMFE webinar is a free webinar. This is the 37th. Thank you very much for all of you to support this endeavor. I once again sincerely appreciate our JS in spite of his busy schedule is here, and other officers and all the speakers. Personally, I know most of them, and thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. Now I request the director, sir, to kindly facilitate this, sir, that memento as a token of gratitude.
I'll put it here. This is visible now. So this is a memento, sir. It will be sent to you. As a chief guest, we always give a memento for every webinar. This is for you, sir.
Thank you so much, Dr. Sir. You are always very kind. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir. Now I would like to invite Dr. D.V. Chidanand, sir, Associate Professor, Department of Food Business Management, for a formal vote of thanks, please.
Thank you, Priya. Priya, I'm audible?
Yes, sir, you're audible, sir.
Respected Chief Guest, our beloved Director, sir, and an NIPTMT PMFME Coordinator, Dr. V.R. Sindhija, Madam, Head of the Departments, Faculties, and esteemed speakers, participants, and friends. Good morning to all. So, on behalf of NIPTM Tanjavur family, I would like to express my profound gratitude to our Honorable Chief Guest, Sri Devesh Deval, sir, IAS, Joint Secretary, Ministry of Food Processing Industries, Government of India, for graciously accepting our invitation and delivering inspiring address, and also sir given a very good hint to the all the PMFM beneficiaries, because the scheme is going to extend another 5 years. And also he also presented importance of PMFM scheme for our country, and his valuable insight have set an excellent tool for today's deliberations. I am once again thank you, sir. I am equally thankful to our director, sir, Professor V. Palanimuthu, sir, for his visionary leadership, constant encouragement for organizing event in a successful manner. And also I would like to thank Dr. V.R. Sinija Madam, PMFME Coordinator, Niptam Tanjavur, for her continuous support for organizing this event. And also my heartfelt thank to all the distinguished speakers who took the time to share their expertise on the cereals, pulses, and millet processing technologies, especially for the micro entrepreneurs. And also extend my gratitude to all participants. I think you are already seeing many more than I think is going to cross 1,000 also. Those who have joined for this webinar from different parts of the country, your enthusiastic participation has made program meaningful and purposeful. Once again, thank you all for participants, and also special thanks to the our team, especially for faculties, staffs, and then everyone involved behind the scene for their seamless effort for coordinating this program. Once again, thank you all for this program. Jai Hind.
Thank you so much, sir. Now we are proceeding towards our first technical session, that is on industry perspectives and on cereals, pulses, and millets. For this session, we have with us Dr. Shalini S. Arya, Professor, Department of Food Engineering and Technology, ICT Mumbai. Thank you, ma'am, for accepting our invitation. The session is over to you, ma'am.
Thank you so much for this opportunity. So, whenever there is a NIFTMT family members or my friends, I cannot say no, even though it's a short notice. And cereals, legumes, pulses is one of my most favorite subject. So, no wonder, like others also, I heard that about 2,500 participants have registered. So, we can understand the importance of cereals, legumes, pulses in our day-to-day life. So, I'm very happy, and once again, thank you so much for giving me this opportunity. And I would like to share my slides. Um, 2 minutes. I'll just open my PPT and then I will. Okay. So I hope you are able to see my slides.
No, ma'am, the slide is not visible. Okay, yes, ma'am.
Yeah, it is visible.
Yes,
Yeah,
ma'am. It's
is it
visible.
in the presentation? Oh, sorry, I'm not very comfortable with the WebEx, but I think that's
Yeah,
fine.
it's
Yes, ma'am.
perfect now, madam. You can please proceed.
Yes, yes. So, good morning, everyone, once again, and thank you so much for inviting me for this wonderful topic, processing and value addition of cereals. And you've heard about my introduction. I work at Food Engineering and Technology Department at ICT Mumbai, and this year I'm also part of FSSI's Scientific Panel Committee on cereal products, legumes, and pulses. So I will take you through what are the different opportunities in India, especially for cereals, legumes. I will more focus on cereals and why it matters for all of us, for food technologies, for food industry to process the cereals, and what are the processing technologies, the primary, secondary, as well as the novel one, where I will focus on very specific one that we have developed technologies and also transferred to the industries. And value addition, some ideas there. This topic is very vast, but we will have a look on also the circularity aspect. In the today's time, we talk a lot about sustainability, sustainable development goals, and the way forward. So as director said, rightly mentioned, India's cereal and pulses. India is a powerhouse for cereals as well as pulses. So this year in 2025-26, we had about 376.56 million tons of record of all grains. So it's a very huge amount of all time high in rice, wheat, or pulses. And if we look at um, we are number one in many of these cereals, like number one in rice, number one in Sri Anna, number one in pulses, and of course, after China, we are number one in also wheat. So you will be very happy and surprised to pulses. We have variety of pulses, and we're also world's largest producer. So it feels very nice that we are the global leader for cereals, pulses. And this is not for the first time, we are processing, but there are a lot of documentation where the cereals were found, consumed by people 23,000 years ago or 105,000 years ago, where people processed, our ancestor like Homo sapiens processed the wheat into wheat flour and they consumed the snacks made from the flour. So processing is not just, that we are developing, but processing is something that is already discovered by our ancestors. So food processing is what? Any deliberate change that you make the food or convert the food into, more edible form. And these days we also call microbiologically safe, which has more stability, shelf stability, or it is more useful. You cannot use wheat as such, but if you convert wheat into flour, dalia, rava, so you can make so many products that are convenient, ready to eat. And it also, the processing also adds palatability, digestibility. So processing is very very important thing where we can convert the raw material into valuable um, products. So there is, in India we are number one in several things. We are producing wheat in large quantity, rice in large quantity, and several cereals, pulses. We are processing large quantity, but the problem is we are not able to process them. So if you look at this, the food grains processing state of production that is processed in
Sorry
India
to interrupt you, ma'am. Your slide is not visible, ma'am.
really sorry, because I didn't do anything. Sorry for this interruption. Stop. It was shared.
Ma'am, can we share from our end?
Yeah, you can share, but I will try once. Just see
Yes, ma'am.
if
Yes, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
you are able to see.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
Okay. So as I said, India is processing the food grains in India 68%, but still we are very much behind. If we compare USA and China, they are processing a lot. So we need a lot of processing. So there is a huge gap. Food processing sector, that is gross value addition in India. You look for in 14-15 we had 1.34 lakh crores. And we moved in 2023. There is almost 10 to 11% of CAGR, but this is a good number. But still, India's total export is 13%, and what quantity we have is a huge amount. So 30.5 lakh crore in 2024 we had market size, and it is projected that 65.2 lakh crore will be by 2023. So this will increase by a CAGR rate of 8 point.
Hello, ma'am. Participants, please wait for 2 minutes. Some technical issue happened from her side. So please wait. Ma'am, can you please continue? Dear participants, ma'am is reconnecting in 1 minute. Please wait for 1 minute, please.
Okay. Hello.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
You're audible, ma'am. Please
please.
continue, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you. Sorry so much. Sorry, everybody, for this technical glitch. So, what I wanted to say here is like, why should this matter to food technologies, the food processor, the small scale processors, or for that matter, Ministry of Food Processing? Because who are the policymakers? Because the food processing sector gross value addition nearly grew 70%, and as in the previous slide, I show from 1.34 crore, it rose to 2.24 crore, which is like 10 to 11% of CAGR. Next slide, please. So if you look at this, the processed agriculture products share a lot of market, but if you look at the cereal and grain processed product, there is a huge processed product. So the flip side is the cost of net processing, not processing in India, because we have a lot of produce available, but only thing is that we have a large amount of base. I think the next slide, this we did 1.34 crore to 2.34 crore, we grow, and so basically we have post harvest losses. Next slide, please. And $18.3 billion or 2.3% of the GDP we are losing only because we are not able to process it. So we are number one in many of the cereals and grains, legumes, pulses. So there is therefore these initiatives by Ministry of Food Processing. Just now the secretary sir said that there are many flagship schemes, and I'm sure those who are attending are aware about this wonderful scheme. You should take benefit of these, like PM Kisan Sampada Yojana or PMFME Yojana or production linked incentive yojanas, where they are these are very good news, particularly for cereal losses have been reduced. And next slide. So if you look at wheat and paddy, there is a lot of contribution have been already gone into where the processing has been occurred. So when you look at the processing value chain for cereals particularly, you have from harvest and cleaning up to market consumer. So every stage of this is basically a primary processing for cereals, which reduces it prevent the losses and extend the shelf life. it also adds to the functional transformation of the food product, and also it gives a consumer value. So from stage 1, that is from harvest to harvest cleaning, to primary processing, to secondary processing, like for example giving converting wheat into flour or flour into extruded snacks or puffed snacks. You have the secondary processing products where we can use them as a functional ingredient, and every stage, we can have we can reduce the so much of post harvest losses. So it's important that the ministry has responded with these flagship events, and we are able to process the product. So we, next slide. So fortification, packaging can be carried out. So when you look at the primary processing, previous slide please. So cleaning and grading, where you can use destoners, aspirators, which removes all the impurities from the cereals and grains and make it safe, and also this adds to the extended shelf life. And most common cereal processing in case of wheat, barley, sorghum, you remove the hull and you remove the bran so that its digestibility improves. And there are some basic technologies like abrasive rollers or centrifugal rollers, or rubber rolls, particularly for paddy, which will which will prevent the breakage of the grain. And then you have these cleaned grains or cereals which can be converted directly into milling, where we know traditionally we use stone chucky, or we can also go for roller mills, where these can be, there are multiple products that can be processed through milling. Flour, or on the basis of particle size, you can separate. You can have dalia, you can have rava, or you can have wheat grits. And then and you are aware about the rice processing, where parboiling and conditioning improves the increased nutrients. So parboiling is a very good technique, processing technique, which prevents the losses, breakage of the rice, and also increases the head rice yield. So parboiling also increases the nutritional content of the resultant rice with a higher amount of vitamin B12 or higher amount of pigments that will increase the nutritional value. Next slide please. So we saw this primary processing basically builds the foundation, like for the grains or cereals to be processed into another products. And I would like to just quickly talk about pulses, and I'm sure there must be somebody else who will talk about the pulses. So even though in pulses there are huge challenges, even we are number one, and we have variety of pulses. So if you go other countries, they don't have variety of pulses, they will have at least only one or two. But India is the treasure where we have variety of pulses. And in pulses, the waste is more, like almost sometimes 30%. So the yield that is obtained is just 60 to 65%, and rest while milling you get that powder or you get the hull. So there are challenges in pulses also, and there are requirement for modern interventions where you can get the good quality of splits with the no breakage, and the hull can be also converted into valuable products. So right now the hull from the pulses is directly goes to cattle feed. So we need to think about the products that could be used for valuable products. Next slide please. Next slide please. Then we have secondary processing. So secondary processing is very, very important because adds form, it gives structure to the flour that we obtain. For example, extrusion cooking, very, very oftenly used by the food processor, particularly when they are using they are processing cereals, and you see the products are loaded with the market. So ready to eat snacks, fortified products, you can also enrich the nutrient for these. So it's a one continuous step. Okay, so you'll get very amazing products that could be ready to eat form, or pasta, noodles, which can be ready to prepare forms, like ready to just boil and you can prepare. So they also adds convenience. Then next comes puffing and popping. These have been used traditionally, until today we have been using these. So puffing, popping expands the grain. They make the product very, very light grain, and it's a different form of product where the product becomes digestible. And recently there are multiple studies where it has been found that if you consume puffs and pops, during that puffing and popping, there is an increased amount of resistant starch content, which adds the nutritional content. So if you consume puff and pop, they will be more healthier than just cooked rice or cooked grains. So that's more, slowly digestible starch that is formed during this processing. And then comes flaking and rolling. The poha, most commonly consumed snack for breakfast, is poha. That is just, you it is ready to ready to prepare form. It's cooked. And again, poha is good for health because slowly digestible starches and more fibers that are produced, that is rs3 type of starch is produced. And then comes the malting and fermentation, one of the most oldest method of extending the shelf life or processing the cereals and legumes. So malting, there are a lot of modification in complex constituents such as carbohydrate, proteins. The vitamin content increases, the enzyme content in the malt increases, so that when you consume that, currently the malt is used for making the malted beverages, or the beer malt can be used in like barley malt can be used in making beer. So malting is a very old method where this can be used as a greatest source of enzyme, greatest source of digestible carbohydrate, or easily accessible proteins such as peptides or amino acids. And then fermentation, again, another method where the cereals have been fermented to make wines, alcohol traditionally, and recently there is a lot of trend about gluten-free beverages that are made from cereal. So consuming cereals, might be a little bit boring because we have bakery products, we have different products, but consuming them in a beverage form, recently, the consumers tends to going towards, the beverages is increasing. So that is also another, very good point. So can I have the next slide? And then just now our director sir spoke about Sri Anna, the millet opportunity, and last to last year our India declared International Year of Millet. So we got a lot of recognition. So we deserve that, I think, the spotlight, because we are the largest producer, 18 million metric ton. This is insufficient, but still I think that's a very good amount. 38% of the global output, 4 times the next producer. And 543 crore last year we produced it. So value is increasing, and now you can see many multinational companies are producing millet based product. You are getting millet cookies, millet beverages, and you have so many products. So why do millets matter to us? Because they are naturally gluten free, they are highly loaded with nutrients. I need not talk, these days the diabetic population consume the millet, and there are so many scientific evidences where consumption can reverse the glucose in the body, and they have been said very good, low glycemic index producing food products. So also they are very very sustainable, because when you are growing the millets, they require 70% less water than the rice. I come from Marathwada. In Marathwada district of Maharashtra, you generally see that there is no water. And I have seen my parents growing only millets because you don't need water. And then we have been consuming sorghum, bajra. Very oftenly I consumed that in my childhood. But then later on, this wheat revolution came, green revolution, and then we started consuming wheat. But it's good that we are going back to these nutricereal which are abundant in calcium, iron, fiber, proteins, and whatnot. So next slide, please. So if you look at the millets also, they are very very challenging. Although millets are very very abundant in nutrients, but still some of the millets are very small, and they are very very husk is very very hard. So still we need a lot of inputs where these dehulling or the adhered bran or adhered hull can be reduced very easily. There are some millets such as barley, bajra or pearl millet has a high fat content, and also some of the minor millets which has high fat content, and that too the fat content is of a mufa and pufa type, that is highly unsaturated. That means during storage these will get oxidized, it will produce oxidative rancidity and give bitter taste to the flour. For example, generally if you keep bajra flour at home for long, what you see, the flour needs to be consumed very fast, otherwise it will give the bitter taste. So high lipid content. Also the bran means you cannot use it, many specialized food products, there are phytic acid, tannins, they are good for health, but they will also reduce the bioavailability of the calcium and iron that is there in these nutrients. So we should, in response, have the decortication which is optimized, calibrated, very specific to each millet. If you have pearl millet, you can the processing conditions that are optimized for pearl millet you cannot implement for little millet. or brown top. So for each millet, still I think that we need a lot of machineries, good machineries, which will also simultaneously stabilize the heat. So we have come a long way. Like we have machineries for wheat, we have machineries for rice, we have machineries for maize, but still, millets, we don't have sufficient amount of machineries where heat can be simultaneously or steam can inactivate the enzymes like lipases, which will enhance the extensibility or they will extend the shelf life. Also, we can have fermented products from the millets where anti-nutrition factors can be reduced and you have ready to eat formulation. So there is a lot of research going on millet based functional premixes, and I'm sure NIFTEM is also contributing in this, where we have stable flour products and legume protein and millet blends. Can I have next slide? So apart from traditional processing, we also have novel non-thermal processing, because when we look at the traditional processes, such as most of the time heat is used to inactivate the enzyme. So these heat may also inactivate the enzymes and bacteria, but that will also kill the bioactives. Like, so you will not have the bioactives that are there in it, which will reduce the antioxidant activity. So our group has been working on some of the non-thermal technologies where heat will protect the bioactives, and we have used hydrodynamic cavitation for making several cereal based products. So we have hydrodynamic cavitation is, in the olden days it was considered as a nuisance. This hydrodynamic cavitation is nothing but you need a very simple setting, a pipe where you can create differences in the pressure, high pressure and low pressure, by using either orifice or venturi. When the liquid passes through that pressure, there is a drop in the pressure, and the drop in the pressure where the vacuoles or the bubbles of the vapors are formed, and the millions of vapor bubbles forms and they explode. So due to that explosion, there is a slight increase in the heat, for example 40 to 45 degrees Celsius temperature rise, and these vapor bubbles will create a lot of pressure, a lot of homogenization to the product gets homogenized. So generally when you have cereal based beverages, there is a huge problem, they get sedimented, and also the enzymes present may cause oxidative rancidity, as well as they cause browning. So when you have this, the substrate becomes so smaller because of the bombarding of those vapor vacuoles, and now that substrate is no more available for the enzyme. So you get enzyme inactivation, you prevent the sedimentation problem and also browning. So we have observed this hydrodynamic cavitation improved very good sedimentation and homogenization. So you don't have to use any additives, where beverage will remain stable up to 15 to 20 days without addition of chemicals. So this will be a very green technique. In another experiment, we observed this hydrodynamic cavitation can be used for modification of proteins, carbohydrates. Well, the functionality of the flour, that is, for example, if I modify the flour from wheat flour, so the modified wheat flour could have better application. So currently we are using lot of corn starch for making different viscosity based product applications like soups and all. So here what we have observed, this hydrodynamic cavitation beautifully modifies the protein, where 300 times improved emulsification and solubility power of that starch was observed in case of this hydrodynamic cavitation. Hydrodynamic cavitation also causes hydrolysis of the protein, releasing peptides and amino acids, making them more bioavailable. So we got those results very beautiful through hydrodynamic cavitation. So this can be used for microbial decontamination, for the protein modification, and also bioactive extraction from bran could be obtained using this hydrodynamic cavitation. Recently we have also got one proposal from BST, where we are going to utilize the effluent waste is treated from the grain processing industry, where we are reducing the BOD and COD from the grain processing waste using the hydrodynamic cavitation. So same technique like for example microbial decontamination. Can I have the next slide, please? Yeah. So, so I wanted to just give a focus on drying. There is a lot of things are happening in drying technology. Very, very, simple technology which can reduce the moisture and increase the shelf stability. Since we have a huge quantity of products, we cannot talk about the technologies or processing technologies that are very expensive, that cannot be industrially scalable. So we need something that is cheaper. Like India, we need to always think about the cost. So moisture control remains the biggest important leverage against storage loss and mycotoxin risk. So most of the cereals, due to even change in 12 to 15% moisture content, and humidity plays a very important role. So if you look at Mumbai, there is a humidity is always between 75 to 85 or 80% always. So this humidity will cause immediately the mycotoxin growth in the cereals that are stored. So having lower water active for them, and the best technology will be the drying. So we have solar assisted hybrid dryers for low running cost. One of my colleague from chemical engineering department have developed very amazing hybrid dryers, where you can use solar as well as electricity, so that throughout the season or throughout the year you can use the dryer to remove the moisture. So infrared dryer also coming fast as a faster processing with better color retention. Fluidized braid drying is also very good for getting a good product quality. Freeze drying, although it's a very expensive technology, but where you want to retain the flavor, where you want to retain the bioactive, so basically premium application, you can go for freeze drying. But this can be very important. Can I have the next slide? So looking at these drying technology, you can also think about fortification, functional foods. So moving to value addition, biofortification and fortification gives us product, and I think cereals are the wonderful vehicle. I have worked closely with government of Maharashtra and also the Tata, who are always leaders in taking initiatives that contribute directly to the society. So I was very closely working on a product where we developed some of the premixes which are high in iron, high in vitamin B12 particularly, to prevent anemia in the slum area. So generally in the slum, they have PDS shops where they buy the wheat at a very cheap price. But that wheat, first of all, is a low quality, but doesn't have any iron. So in that project, what we did was we used biofortification as one of the very important technique for fortification of iron, zinc, and vitamin B12, enriched staple flour, so that the population can have better nutrients. So very wonderful vehicle, because we are consuming it on a daily basis. So FSSAI's fortification standards under national nutrition programs also suggest for increased nutritional value. So I feel that cereal in singly or cereal legume blends can give rise to increased protein content as well as increased nutrient content. Also millet flour, and these days a lot of products industry is also taking initiative, and we have multigrain flours, and I'm very proud and happy that about 30 technologies that are directly relevant to premixes based on cereals, legumes, and millet blends we have developed in our laboratory. And these products are performing very well in the market shelves with a very good kneadability or baking ability, with low glycemic index potential or cholesterol lowering ability. So I always feel that these cereals and grains, if beautifully processed, you can retain the nutrients, as well as you can um, exploit them for using exploit them for their beneficial nutrients for your own health. So there are a lot of clinical studies also that are performed showing that they are wonderful ingredients. So can I have the next slide? So you can have novel products in the market. And then coming to the last, in line with the sustainable development goal, out of 17, there are many which are directly in line with the food. So waste to wealth is what will give you the money. So every byproduct stream that you get it from primary or secondary or the novel product, it's very important potential revenue stream. The bran has, you will see, some of these cereals will have a bran of about um, or hull of about 20 to 30%. So that bran or husk yield a very good quantity of dietary fiber, and including both soluble as well as insoluble dietary fiber depending upon the cereal that you are using. And this bran is concentrated with a lot of nutrients, pigments, uh, and these fiber concentrates and cavitation assisted bioactive recovery has been conducted in our laboratory, where this husk gets modified and then you can extract fibers from it, both including soluble and insoluble dietary fiber. Bioactive recovery can be carried out, and broken grains that are obtained during the processing, right now they are used for as a malt adjunct in the beer processing, but you can think about many other applications where these broken grains can blended into flour, or legume processing residue can use for making peptides. Why not? Because legume hull also has a very good amount of protein. So protein recovery for nutraceutical can be also explored. Husk and biomass go into for bioenergy. So non-thermal green extraction techniques we can go
Sorry to
ahead.
interrupt you, ma'am. We have a very less time. Please
I've
wind up
done
in 1 minute, ma'am,
this
please.
is the last slide. So industry 4.0 and smart processing. So we have to all come together, the food technology, the industry, the processors, and the policymakers should come together to contribute together to reduce the post-harvest losses and bring technologies and processing that are very relevant for cereals, specific to cereals. Next slide, please. And blockchain technology, AI, ML based sorting, which will not just prevent the losses but also it will bring the quality. So some of these technologies have been implemented in Europe and America, but India we are still far behind, and I'm sure in the time we will be able to use the IoT sensor to monitor the moisture content in the cereal grains, which will be very rapid. We'll be able to use the blockchain for traceability, from which farm or which farmer the grains are coming, whether they are organically grown or not. So much things can be explored in case of cereals. Can I have the next slide? Next slide, please. Next slide, please. So where do we go from here? The persisting challenges are real: fragmented, undercapitalized processing base, skilled manpower, and there are gaps. So we need to come together and find out the solutions for these gaps. So can I have the next slide? So finally, I would like to say that we are the largest producer for many of the cereals, but just producing in large quantity is not insufficient. We need so the next decade belongs to whosoever processes it best. So we see that very oftenly we have a good amount of raw material, but we give it to some other country and they process it and sell it at a very high cost. So the next decade belongs to whosoever processes it. So those who are attending here and those from industry, I request you to come forward and process the cereals. Thank you. I will be very happy to have questions on the content that I deliver.
Thank you so much, ma'am. I think there is no question till now. So thank you so much, ma'am, for coming and sharing the valuable knowledge with us. Now we're moving ahead with the next technical talk, which is on advances in millet processing. For this session, we have with us Dr. Vikas Kumar, Senior Scientist, Food Technology, ICR IIMR Hyderabad. Thank you, sir, for accepting our invitation, and the session is over to you, sir. Thank you. Sir, can you unmute yourself? Sir?
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So, very good morning to all of you. Respected Devesh Deval sir, Joint Secretary, MOPI, Palani Muthu sir, Honorable Director, NIFTMT, the organizing team, and dear participants. It's really a great opportunity that I have seen that nearby 1,000 people are joining at the same platform, and I can see the messages and all. They are like highly attractive people. They are continuously putting the message and all. And I'm thankful to the Shanli madam because she have covered the maximum portion of the cereals where she have discussed some part of the millets and all. Yeah, she is right that millets are growing day by day, and no doubt the area is a challenging little bit nowadays, as we are working hard for this because the major challenge in millet is the area right now.
because as the wheat and rice is the major crop of India, and because of that, the millets is not getting that much significance till date in India. And not only we have developed the different numerous varieties of the millets till date and having the potential to increase the productivity. And after this International Year of Millet, we have observed the good changes in the millet processing as well as the So when we are talking about the millet, as Madam was telling, there are two type of the millets. One is the major, another one is the minor millets. In case of the major is jowar, bajra and ragi. That is the sorghum, finger millet and pearl millet. How we are saying this is major? Because of the area, because of the cultivation, because they are grown in the major part of the country. That's why they are termed them as, we are terming them as a major millets. On the other hand, we have the 6 minor millet that includes the little millet, foxtail millet, proso millet, kodo millet, barnyard millet and brown top millet. Okay, so these all millets are gaining a lot of popularity nowadays, especially the minor millets. And these all millets are having the huge phytochemical potential, and that's why the consumers, that's why the diabetic patients or the person who is the health concern are getting attracted toward these products, toward these millets. The biggest point with the millet is they are the gluten-free crops. And because of this reason, they are very good choice for the celiac patients. Okay, so that's why the demand of these all is, and because of this composition, millets is having the, we can say that millets are mines of the phytochemicals, mines of the nutrient. You can have the simple example of this ragi is the mine of the calcium. Okay, on the other hand, polyphenolic compounds, on the other hand, energy, protein, vitamins, everything is very high in case of the millets, and that's why it have the potential to possess different type of the health benefits. But the problem with the millets is, especially in case of the minor millets, if I'm talking about the seed coat, the seed shell. When you see the minor millets, on the surface of the millets, you can see like the husk like paddy. So you have to process it. Another problem with the millet processing is the size. Because the different millets, 9 type of the millets have the 9 type of the sizes. And the little bit the anti-nutritional factors. So that's why there is a strong need to process the millets so that we can convert that millets into the value-added products, or millets into the RTC or RTE type of the products, or millets into the health food products, which is having the good sensory profiles as well as good shelf life. So as we have already discussed, that the biggest problem with the millet is the size. That's why there is a challenge which we need, that different type of the seeds of different type of the machinery for the millets. Then product development, because let me tell you what is happening. What I have seen recently also, not all the institutes are working on the millet processing, but no one have opted the technology which is having the 100% potential for the utilization of the millets. People are replacing, like we have the finger millet bread also in the market, we have the finger millet cookies in the market, we have the different type of the millet cookies, but the replacement is 20, 30, 40%. That is the partial replacement is going on. There are the different reasons for the partial replacement, but let me tell you, the exact problem will be solved when we are using the 100% of the millet for the processing of the different type of the product. And then as Shalini madam was saying, shelf life is the biggest issue with the millet, especially in case of the bajra, especially in case of the pearl millet, where the fat concentration is very high and the problem of the rancidity is very, very high. And the third thing in the millet is the anti-nutritional factors, which is present in the seed coat. Okay, so we have to challenge, we have to manage those all aspects in such a way so that we can improve the palatability, improve the acceptability of the millets. Now, to make this palatable, to make it acceptable by the consumers, we have the different set of the processing technologies. The first one is the primary. We have the primary processing, that is the post-harvest processing technology. Then we have the value addition technology, and we have the advanced technologies also. But still, let me tell you, in case of the millet, we are still struggling with the value addition technologies. Advanced millet is far away right now for us. Because as I have discussed, our major challenge is to have a row-level chapati from the millets, to improve the palatability of the millets. So when we are talking about the post-harvest management, is right from the grains to milling and to get the different particle size of the flour. And on the basis of the particle size, we'll call it a rava, we'll call it grits, or we'll call it as a fine flour. And accordingly, we can use it. Then we can have the value-added technologies also. And no doubt we are optimizing it, we are using it, such as the malting. I hope so you have seen around 3 days or 4 days back, our one new patent from our institute came for the millet beer production. And that is produced with the help of the malting process only. Then we have the germination to increase the bioavailability of the compounds as well as to decrease the anti-nutritional factors. And along with this, we have the different other technologies like roasting, we have the puffing, we have the baking, flaking. As Madam was telling, that flaking and puffing are very, very important because they have very good digestibility and all. And then instant standardization and then complete flour development. These all are getting a lot of proper this especially value-added technologies are getting lot of popularity nowadays. But along with this, we have some. I have seen many papers from the CFTRI. I have seen many papers from ICT Mumbai and NIFTM T and NIFTM K. Especially those who are working on these emerging technology. I'm happy to see these all things because they are working on these technologies. And no doubt these technologies, especially these ultrasonication, microwave, radio frequency, they have very good scope in the millet processing. So if I'm talking about the post-harvest processing, which we have already discussed, right from the grains to flour. Now, when we are talking about the grains to flour, you can see these are the grains what we are getting. We have to clean it. We have to dehull it. See,
Sorry to interrupt you, sir. Sir, your slide is not visible, sir.
Now it is visual.
Yes, sir.
Now
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So one more thing I want to let you know here. In case of the major millet and minor millet, the another difference is the major millets are having the seed coat only. Whereas in the minor millets, we have the seed hull. We used to call it as a seed husk we have. Now, in case of the major millet processing, we need polishers. Whereas in case of the minor millet, we need dehullers. This is the another thing where in case of the minor millet, you have to add one more machinery over there that is termed as a dehuller. Okay, now once the dehulling is done, once the polishing is done, then we'll grind it, and after grinding, we will convert it into the different type of the flours depending upon the size. Once we get this flour, then we can use that flour for the different type of the product development, either for the cold extrusion or for the hot extrusion. And we have recently introduced one product in the market. I hope so you have seen with that product, that is the millet kurkure with the PepsiCo, and you can see on that packet that technology is opted from the ICR IMR Hyderabad. Okay, and along with this, we can go for the puffing. I hope so you can see my camera, and there you can see these type of the puffs we can develop. These are the jaggery coated puffs. Exactly what we are having in the jaggery coated puffs, jaggery and butter coated puffs, which is increasing the value addition of the crop. Then we have the flakes, that is the thick and thin flakes depending on its utilization in the industry. Then bakery, nothing new is there. That we can utilize the this millets flour in the different type of the cookies, different type of the biscuits, different type of the baked products, and the instant mix. Yeah, instant soup mix can be, and we have already standardized the technology for production of the ragi instant soup mix, which is already commercialized in the market, and few beverages also. And I'm happy to tell you here one more thing. This is the alcoholic beverage what we have developed from the sweet sorghum juice. So millets can be not only the grains, especially in case of the sweet sorghum, we can utilize the juice of the cane also for the development of the different type of the value-added products. Along with these express foods, when you will go to the flights and all those things, nowadays you are getting the express foods. Okay, so that can also be developed with the help of the millets, and no doubt proteins as well as the nano starch also can be developed or can be extracted. But this is the another thing which I was discussing in the beginning only. All the varieties are not suitable for all the purpose. This is the lacking point in Indian processing industry. What we are doing, we are just taking one millet from the market, we are processing it. All the millet varieties are not suitable for the processing. There are the specific points which we have to target nowadays. We have to work the variety oriented so that we can provide the clean information to the industry or to the entrepreneurs. And we are working on this particular component where we are standardizing the different type of the recipes, standardizing the different type of the technologies and all according to the varieties. One more thing I was discussing here in the beginning only, the biggest problem with the millets is the row level tea. Gluten free is the boon for the celiac patients. But if you are talking about the baking, it is not acceptable at all. Now we have to develop or we have to standardize the thing in such a way that the acceptability of the millet should be increased. It's not the solution. Replace 20% of the wheat and add 20% of the millet. So we'll call it as a millet product. No. I'm totally against to these type of the fundas. If you are doing the science, you have to replace it 100%. Don't play with the foods. 100% replacement can be done by the different means. You have to change the structure, and among them the major one is the flour modification. You have to do the gelatinization. You have to do the change in the structure of the starch in such a way that you can increase the gelatinization process. That is, we can do with the help of the starch structure modification. We can by this we can improve the dough rheology, as well as we can increase the nutritional and functional enhancement, as well as it will effectively utilize for the development of the different type of the products. Then we have developed the different type of the technologies at IMR, in which the major all are the instant food products you can find in the market, which is having the Eat Right brand, which is developed by the IMR Hyderabad. And we have the different type of the puffs, we have the different type of the flakes, all the millets flakes are available. This is the another one. What we have developed recently with the NutriHub, they have developed recently the rice analogs, where they have 100%, they are using the millet and they are converting that millet flour into the rice analog so that it can be effectively utilized. Then this is the probiotics. No, need to be standardized, but probiotic products from the millets have a probiotic and prebiotic, symbiotic products have the good potential. Then the millet protein. Okay, we can extract, especially the proso millet is having nearby 18% of the protein, and that protein can be extracted. That protein can be extracted and can be effectively utilized, and we are working on this particular component. This express food I was discussing, and it is available nowadays in the market also and available in the different stores also. So different emerging technologies, what we have I was discussing that I have seen many papers from the NIFTM, TK, as well as this ICT Mumbai and this CFTRI. They are working on these all. Even we are also working on these all components where we are giving the starch, this flour modification with the help of the hydrothermal treatments. Even the fermentation. is very, very effective and very old and very good technology. My one of the favorite technology where we can improve the bioavailability of all the nutrients. And nowadays, I hope so you can see the sourdough is also available in the market. Then cold plasma. I have evaluated many manuscripts from the Niftam T, and they are working very good on this particular component, that is the cold plasma, for the changing of the structure of the starch as well as the other molecules, so that the gelatination can be improved. And then ultrasound, we are working on this, where with the help of the ultrasound, with the wavelength, with the exact this ultrasounds, we can cause the cavitation forces, and ultimately there is a proper liberation of the phytochemicals and other things. These are the other components which is very rarely touched in case of the millet processing, but have the good potential for the advances, that is microwave processing, radio frequency, ohmic heating, infrared and pulse electrical field. Along with this, as the Madam Shalini was saying, that the problem with the millet is the storage stability, especially the flour. There we have to use such kind of the packaging material which should have the proper barrier properties, as well as in case of the flour, the problem is the oxygen. So we have to use different type of the oxygen as well as the light. So we have to use the different type of the packaging material which have the ability to sequester the oxygen as well as to inhibit the light penetration. Then millets byproducts, no doubt very less work. Dr. Panesar from Slide and other people, they have worked on this particular component, but very less work has been done on this component. So where we can use the millet bran and millet husk for the development of the different type of the value-added products. We can extract the compounds also, like as we have discussed, we are extracting the protein, we are extracting the phytochemicals, we are extracting the antimicrobial compounds as well as the oil. We are already working on these all components. These are the some products which is developed by the different startups and already available in the markets. And again, many startups are there. I can see many participants are there. Work on the good technologies. Don't go with the race. Work on the unique technologies where you are giving something new to the market, something new to the consumer. Don't go like a race. So these are the key points from my presentation. Optimize the things, do the modification, target the specific anti-nutrient which you want to reduce, extend the shelf life, and valorize or use the this waste material so that we can use it effectively. So it's really time to use the millets, and we have to revive our old culture so that we can use it once again to make it as a superfood once again. So thank you all for your kind attention and for listening me. You all are welcome to contact us at ICR IMR Hyderabad, and along with this you can find my detail of the our website, my phone number, LinkedIn as well as the email ID. You all are welcome to connect. Any question, if it is, you are requested to kindly ask the same. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for such a valuable in knowledge and the great presentation. It's very like a wide knowledge for everyone. Thank you so much for coming. Now we will proceed to the next technical session, which is on emerging trends in pulse processing. For this session, we have with us Dr. C.T. Ramachandra, Professor, Department of Agriculture Engineering, US, Bangalore. I welcome you, sir, and thank you for accepting our invitation. The session is over to you, sir. Thank you so much.
Priya, you can please ask the participants if you have any questions, please put it on the chat. We will be taking up all the questions together towards the end of the session.
Okay, ma'am. Dear participants, if you have any question regarding any topic in this, so please put in the chat box. We will take it up in the end of the session. Thank you so much. Sir, Uh, Sir, can you start the presentation? Sir, you're not audible. Please unmute yourself. Hello, sir. You're unaudible, sir.
Ramchandra, can you please unmute and speak? No, it's showing no, not audible.
You are saying something?
Sir, not to you.
Ma'am, can we go for the next speaker?
Yeah. Ramchandra, please log out and then join back. Meanwhile, we will proceed with the next session.
The questions we can take at the end because like time already we are crossing. We
Yeah,
have very limited
yes.
time available. So all
Yes.
the question can be put in the chat box. And at the end, we can address like whatever maximum questions we can address during the session. Otherwise, there can be responded over email or other mode of communications.
Okay, wait. Sir,
Yes.
sir, you're on. No, sir. Ramachandra, sir? No, he's not speaking. Sir, please log out and come back, sir, again. You're not audible, sir.
Priya, please proceed with the next person.
Okay, sir. Okay, ma'am.
Yeah.
I think some technical issue is there, participants. So we will proceed to the next technical talk, which is on processing machinery for cereals, pulses, and millets. For this sessions, we have Suresh Sakri, sir, Chief Scientist and Head CFTR in Mysore. Dear participants, please wait for 2 minutes. Our speaker is joining in 2 minutes. Okay. Sir, Ramachandra, sir, please unmute yourself, sir. Sir, you're not audible, sir. Dear participants, I think some technical issue from some speakers. So we are moving towards the next technical session, which is on food safety, FSI, packaging, branding, and marketing. So we have with us, I would like to invite Dr. R. Vidyalakshmi ma'am, Professor and Manager, Food Testing Lab, Liftam Tanjavur. I welcome you, ma'am, in this and thank you for accepting our invitation. The session is over to you, ma'am.
Thank you so much, Priya.
Yes, ma'am. Kindly share presentation, ma'am.
Are my slides visible?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Can you put in a PPT mode, ma'am?
Yeah. Is that fine?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So very good morning to all the participants present over here. So this session is on the safety and regulation pertaining to the cereals, millets, and pulses. So as you all know, like why safety is of a concern. Like generally we give more importance to quality. So we wanted every consumer wants a quality commodity, so which could be visibly seen, like it should be appealing to the eyes, it should be tasteful, and all the other quality attributes which could qualify the food to be as more acceptable. But like safety is more prioritized over quality, because it is an assurance which is given to the consumer that whatever we consume is intended to be safe and it is fit for consumption. Why safety is important? Because WHO, the World Health Organization, estimates that unsafe food causes around 866 million illness, which means almost 1 in 9 fall ill as a result of eating contaminated food. So this may even cause death of the consumer, so which is accounting to around 1.5 million every year. Not only that, this causes a great economic loss in terms of productivity, in terms of medical expenses as a result of consuming unsafe food. So especially children are more vulnerable. They are the most victim of consuming unsafe food. So children under 5 years of age experience 29% of the health burden due to consuming unsafe food. So not only that, it also caused around 1,43,000 deaths across the globe, especially children. So these foodborne diseases, they impede a serious socio-economic development by straining the healthcare systems and harming the national economies, tourism, and trade. So that is why it is very important, like we concentrate more on the safety aspects of food. So talking about the safety aspects, what causes threat or what causes food to be unsafe are called as hazards. So hazards may be conditions, or they may be contaminants in food which could render the food unfit for consumption. So they are nothing but they are categorized as a physical, chemical, biological. In case there is no appropriate process control, or in case the food safety management system is at question, so there are all chances or all likely chances for these hazards to enter the food in its value addition. So these hazards can occur at any stage of the food production process. It may be from the raw material, or it may be when inappropriate processing conditions are followed, in case if the time temperature combination is not appropriate to the process, or in case even after producing safe wholesome food, it is not stored appropriately, it is not packed appropriately, it is not distributed, or it is not consumed in the directions for its usage, then these hazards are likely to pose a threat on the consumer. So starting from the raw material to consumption, so it is a shared responsibility of everybody to render or to keep away from these hazards.
So the food, not only the food, water also, which is used in the manufacturing of food, may also be a serious threat. And food or water due to proper mishandling, improper storage conditions, or sometimes they may be inherent of food constituents. Whenever we use or substitute with the cheaper or inferior raw materials, so they may be inherent as a part of the food constituent as well. And every type of hazard requires specific attention and control measures, not that all the hazards require the same attention. So every, depending on the nature of the hazard and the type of the hazard, each one requires a specific attention and control measure. So this food safety involves risk assessment, risk management, and communication of the risk. So how this could be taken care of is as FBOs implementing a food safety management system, HACCP schemes would help in identifying the hazard and in controlling the hazards to acceptable limits. So while categorizing these hazards, like biological hazards are nothing but they are just bacteria, viruses, parasites, fungi, molds. So all these things are entering the food. So some of the examples, maybe they may be cross contamination from raw meat to fresh fruits and vegetables, or some spoiled fruits and vegetables may also be a reason for contamination. Unpasteurized milk, raw sprouts, contaminated water which is not of potable quality may contain these biological hazards. And coming to chemical hazards, these are harmful chemicals which are entering the food. Examples like pesticides, antibiotic residues, veterinary drug residues, any food additives added over and above the prescribed limits, heavy metals, allergens, gluten, lactose, nuts. So all these from crustaceans, allergens from crustaceans, seafoods. So all these contribute to chemical hazards. And physical hazards include all your extraneous matter which could be visibly seen in the food, like glasses, metal pieces, wood, stone, sand, dust, etc. So how FPO to comply with the FSSA regulation. So, you all obtain a registration or license, which is given to the adoption of the good manufacturing practices. Most of us think our product should meet the quality standards, safety standards. Yes, it should definitely comply, but compliance of the product standard alone will not fetch you a registration or license. So this is given to the premises of or the manufacturing unit, stating that the FBO should mandatorily comply to the good manufacturing practices laid down in the food safety and standards regulation of India. So what are these good manufacturing practices? Means ensuring the production facility or the premises is very clean, hygienically maintained, good hygienic practices are adopted, equipments are maintained in a proper way, personal hygiene of the people involved in production, people involved in sales are kept, proper segregation of raw materials, proper segregation of finished commodities, segregation of food and non-food materials, appropriate pest control management, appropriate sanitations, drainage. So all this should be catered under good manufacturing practices. So responsibility of food safety lies from the producer, starting with the producer by adopting good agricultural practices, coming to the followed by the manufacturer, distributor. Yes, anything? So followed by the producer, so it is a shared responsibility of the manufacturer, distributor, transporter, retailer, and the consumer by adopting to good manufacturing practices and good hygiene practices. So it's a shared responsibility of everybody. So coming to the FSSA registration, licensing, and the regulatory standards. So if you need to for practice, or if you want to trade food as a business, So according to the section 31 and 32 of FSSA Act, every food business operator in India are required to be licensed or registered under the FSSAI. So without a license or a registration, you are not permitted to trade food. So what are these food safety practices which are strictly advocated in these acts and the rules? So the licensing and the registration procedure and requirements are regulated under the Food Safety and Standards Licensing and Registration of Food Business 2011. So in accordance to this, it is mandatory that all food business operators obtain a license or registration. Why is it mandatory that they should obtain a license or registration? Because it is an identity for the food business, and only then you are capable of operating in the market. Only then you can go for sales of the commodity in the market. So this will also establish a regulatory accountability and ensure minimum food safety requirements through producing quality safer foods, because you need to adopt to the standards which are laid down for the commodity. So this will also enable inspection and surveillance, facilitate traceability, protect the consumers, will give a consumer confidence on the brand and the product quality. This will ensure promote fair trade and a responsible food trade as well. So no food business should operate outside the food safety regulatory system. So who are all designated as food business operators? Means any person or enterprise carrying out food related trade are designated as food business operators. They may be food manufacturers, they may be processors, they may be dairy business people, meat, poultry, restaurants, hotels, caterers, retailers, wholesalers, distributors, warehouse operators, storage points, uh, transporters of food, importers of food, and e-commerce and food business. So all these kind of business are designated to be as food business operators. And we call them, based on the annual turnover, certain food business operators are designated as petty food manufacturers. So petty food manufacturers are, petty retailers, hawkers, itinerant vendors, or temporary stall holders, or small or cottage level industry having an annual turnover up to 1.5 crore. So it is sufficient they obtain a registration from FSSAI for their trade. So all food businesses having income more than this limit, more than 1.5 crores, are required to take a license. And this license is again of two types, a state license and a central license. So state license is for FPOs having a turnover between 1.5 crore to 50 crores, and central license are for FBOs having a turnover above 50 crores. So there are other criteria like the location of the business, number of retail stores, etc. For the central licensing criteria. Say suppose you have business in more than a state, you should declare one of the means one of your office in one of the state to be your head office, and the other as your branches. So in such time, then it is you have to go for a central license. You're a transporter, you're a caterer, then you have to go for a central license. And based on the production capacity also, sometimes central licensing may be applicable. So how to plan for this license or registration? First, determine what your business activity is. What is the kind of business which you are going to do? Are you going to be a manufacturer? Are you going to be a distributor, transporter? So what kind of business you are going to do? So based on this, what will be a projected annual turnover? Accordingly, you choose either you fall under the category of registration or license. So then look into the eligibility criteria and apply through the FOSCOS system. So FOSCOS, you can see here. So I've given the link also here, foscos.fssai.gov.in. So this is the online portal of FSSAI for FPOs to obtain registration and licensing. So you can just apply through this FOSCOS portal. So in case if you are going for a registration, select Form A. In case if it is going to be a license, it is Form B. So here different tabs are given. You can see here for a new license or registration, for renewal, for modification, you can track your application, right? And you can just how to apply, you can just click on this, and what are the application processes. You can view the eligibility criteria before applying. You can see where your product falls by clicking on this standardized food products. So you know,
Sorry to
like,
interrupt you, ma'am. So, ma'am, can you please complete the presentation in 2 to 5 minutes?
yeah, sure, I'll try to.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am, please.
So the FPOs can just visit this FOSCOS and you can apply for the license, and the license is given for a period of 1 to 5 years, so depending on the fees as well. You can either apply it for 1 year and keep on renewing, or even at a stretch you can apply for 5 years. So the documents required for registration includes a photo, a government issued photo ID, and proof of address of business. So this is very much important. As I told you, the license or registration is given to the premises where the manufacturing is happening. And for license, some elaborate documentation like the list of blueprint of the or the layout plan, a list of equipments, board of directors. So some of the extra mm, documentation is required. And if you non-comply, like suppose there is adulteration which is happening, if you possess some non-permitted material in the premises, unhygienic practices which is being followed, misleading advertisement, providing false information, so doing business without a license. So all this failure to comply with all the directions of FSSAI will either invite or attract a penalty and punishment under the law. So after all the processes is completed, so you will be issued with an FSSAI license, which is a 14-digit number, and you have to, it's a mandatory requirement, you print it on the label along with the FSSAI logo. Okay, so it is alphanumeric, and it should be printed all 14 digits alphanumerically. It should be printed on the label. So the first digit will denote the registration or license, whether it is a registration or license. The following 2 digits denotes the state code, and the following 2 digit denotes the year of enrollment of business, and the following 3 digits denotes the quantity of the enrolling master, and the last 6 digit will be the FBO's unique permit number. So coming to the quality and safety standards, this is laid down in the food safety standards, food product and food additive regulation, under which chapter 2.4 is for cereal and cereal commodities. So under this, we have pulses, we have millets, we have oil seeds. All food grains are following under this category. There are around 41 products under this 2.4 regulation. So I'm just providing with just a few examples due to time constraint. So if you see like the quality standards for atta, so mainly prescribes moisture, total ash, especially gluten, you can see. So gluten should be 6% on a dry weight basis. It should not be less than 6%. So these are your quality standards. Okay, and it is important that the product meets the quality standards. In case if you don't meet these quality standards, then your product will be named as substandard. It will be marked as substandard. And there are safety standards, like you can see here, uric acid, it should be 100 mg per kg. Okay, it should not be more than 100 mg per kg. Likewise, if you see for this is for jowar and many other grains. And coming to the safety standards, includes your contaminants, your microbiological requirements, your pesticide residues. So whatever the maximum limits prescribed for contaminants should also be met. If in case the product fails for the safety standards such as contaminants and microbial requirements, then the product will be classified as unsafe and it will be recalled from the market. So at NIFTMT, we have NABL accredited FSSA referral and reference food testing laboratory, which caters to the testing services of the FPOs. So in case if you want to have a nutritional labeling of the product, which is a mandatory requirement to be printed on the label, so you can approach our laboratory for all the testing services. And it's a requirement that the employees of the industry should be trained in the good manufacturing practices for which the license or the registration is happening. So we are also empaneled by FSSAI as one of the FASTAC training partner. So we could provide a FASTAC training to the employees of the food industry. So in case if there's a requirement for any of the FPOs for a training and for testing, you can approach NIFTM Tanjavur. So thank you so much for this opportunity.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for the elaborated presentation. Now we are moving towards the next technical talk, which is on processing machinery of cereals, pulses, and millets. For this session, we have with us Dr. Suresh Sakri, sir, Chief Scientist and Head CFTRI Mysore. I welcome you, sir, in this, and thank you for accepting our invitation. The session is over to you, sir.
Hello. Yes.
Yes,
Am I
sir.
audible to all?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Please share your presentation, sir.
Okay. Okay. So, am I audible and slides are visible?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Sir,
Yeah.
please start.
So, yeah. So, good afternoon, all. Thanks to the NIPTM Tanjavur for conducting this wonderful session onto the cereal pulses and millet processing technology. And thanks to the director, NIPTM Tanjavur, for giving me this opportunity. I'm going to talk about the processing machineries, and I have very little time as per the organizer. So let us start. I'm going to take you around the primary processing and secondary processing maximum for the grains. When you talk about the history of the processing or history of the grain milling, around 10,000 BC, we started cultivation of the grain. Then there was the pestle and mortar. Then it converted into the stone. The stone was earlier powered by the human being, replaced with the animals. Then wind power, and then electricity came into the existence. If you look at during 19th century, the invention of roller mill, plant shifter, and the purifier has completely changed the process of refining of the milling for most of the grain. And then there was a pneumatic conveying systems in 1940, and today we have completely automatic plant. When you talk about the typical flow charts of a grain processing, we have the intake and pre-cleaning of the grain. That is, we do the primary cleaning, then it goes to the storage, depending on the kind of storage, what we have, silos or the go down. Then it becomes a grain cleaning, which is important front where we operation where we take it out all the contaminants from the grain to make your flour, make your meat product safer for human consumption, which is followed by the conditioning that is usually done in terms of wheat. Pulses also require the pre-treatment so that the seed coat can be easily removed. Then there is a milling of the grain, storage, blending, bagging, and the quality control. Basically, when you want to do the milling of the grain, processing of the grain, depending upon the objective, what is that you want to achieve, your entire processing system will vary. So let us talk about the dry milling. That is what we do usually with the grain. Your objective, whether you want to convert the grain into the whole grain flour, that is we call it as atta, or you can do it from millets. So when you are producing it, your systems of grinding becomes much more easier. Many times you want to convert your grain into the refined grain flour, that when you talk about refined wheat flour or rice kernel, where we remove out the bran and germ and convert the endosperm into the flour. In case of a wheat, you keep the kernel intact. In case of a rice, we remove the seed coat and keep cotyledon into the split, converted into the dal. So all these operations of your processing depends on what is your exact objective that you are going to achieve into your the milling system. Sometimes what we do also, we convert your grain into the granular product. We call them it is semolina, suji, and rava. Very popularly, if you take an example of a corn milling, what we do in the corn milling, we take it out the bran germ and we convert endosperm into the grits, and that grits become a common raw material for your flakes. So similarly, you have the rice grits, we call it as a rice suji. We have the wheat semolina. So that is also another type of milling objective. So when you talk about the milling, before that we go to the cleaning section. Uh, it is very simple that when you are talking about the grain cleaning, we have objective that to produce a safe quality of a food, nutritious food to your consumers, and it is acceptable. So when you are talking about the safe food, that is very essential, that how you are going to select your machineries, how you are going to design your cleaning section, so that all sort of impurities that could be a physical, biological, as well as the chemical impurities can be removed during the cleaning section. Some of the common equipment what we use as a part of a cleaning section of all these grains, very beautiful equipment, we call it as a magnet. This is one of the favorite equipment of mine. Why? Because of it deals with your food safety, it deals with your machine safety, it deals with your employee safety, and moreover it doesn't require any power to operate. So without any power requirement it works. So how to put this equipment? So this equipment can be there before the any section beginning. That could be you are having the mixes plant, you are having the pulses plant, whether it is milling or the cleaning. This machine comes at the first. Even the baking plant also, the it has to pass through the magnet and then go to the blending or mixing. So that is the one. The second one, it has to also before any fast moving machine. So you are working with the scourers, you are working with the hullers, you are working with the polishers. Then it is ideally this machine or hammer mill. So to protect your machine, this machine can come. And the third position, this machine can be put before packing of your finished goods. So maybe in your mill you are packing different flours, different semolinas, so it has to come before the packing of your bran, flours, or any mixes you are preparing into your meal. The second machine, which is very popularly used, that is uses the principle of side separation, used to remove the coarser and the finer impurities, that we call it as a side separation machine, that take care of the impurities that are bigger than the grain and smaller than the grain. So specifically depending on the grain could be the requirement of finger millet, sieve selection could be a different, barley could be a different, dal could be a different, or rice or wheat could be a different. So based on to the type of a grain, size of the grain, you need to select the sieve size for this grain. And during this, we take it out the coarser impurities, you take it out the finer impurities like a sand, dust, soil material. Followed by this, usually the machine comes is the aspirator. So here we use the principle of air resistance. The lighter impurities which is having the uh, terminal velocity less can be removed from the grain. So by adjusting the appropriate velocity of air, there is a counter current direction of flow of grain and the air, and you can take it out light impurities. That could be the husk, straws, hollow kernels, and so on. So after that, what we have the next machine usually we use is the density separation, that we call it as a dish toner, dry dish toner. It works onto the principle of specific gravity. The heavier impurities, those who are having density higher than the grain, that could be your stones, that could be your bricks, that could be your coal, that could be your metals, so glass also. All these are very important impurities in terms of food safeties and the quality of food products are concerned. So by adjusting a proper air velocity, we can make a fluidized motion of your grain, and we can take it out the heavier impurities. Uh, Followed by this, we have the machine called as a indented cylinder. These machines can be used to take it out your round grain or the long grain separation. This could be ideal machine when you are segregating the rice kernels into the different grades of a rice, long rice, medium rice, smaller rice, broken rice. All these rice grading can easily be carried out by using this cylinder. In other places, you take an example of a wheat, we can take it out the barley, oat, which is longer. We can also take it out the round impurities like pulses by using. So once we do the kind of a separation by separator, aspirator, destoner, focal cylinder, we also look at the grain. The grain are not clean. So microscopically, if you look at the grain, there are impurities like chemical impurities in terms of residues of chemicals, microbial impurities, dust that will be adhering onto the surface of your grain. So another important equipment that uses the principle of a friction can become has become a very important equipment into the whole grain processing, because into the whole grain processing, what we do, we use a bran along with your endosperm and the germ. So you are eating the grain along with cotyledon or the outer bran, which is the most contaminated portion of your grain. And how to reduce the contaminants from your grain? Scourer is one of the machine which uses the principles and remove your lighter layer. The degree of bran removal can be adjusted as per the requirement. So when you look at this particular unit, we have the design for this at CSR CF Terra, which can use for all of the grain, multi-grain, where we can clean the grain, we can grade the grain, and then you can pack the grain. You can also blend the grain. You can add the water if required. You can dry the grain. So it gives an entire structure, and this is called as a primary value addition of the grain. So let us take an example how it works. I have a sorghum, jawar, and then I grade into the two grades, first grade and second grade. The first grade can be going double the price. So here your value addition is much more higher, and the second grain, which is having some defective kernels, low color kernel, that can be ground and converted into the flour. So we have the much more value addition of your grain when you are cleaning, grading, further you are processing as per the requirement, or packing and selling into the market. So depending on your investment, size separation comes with the first very less cost step, followed density require more cost, air is required, and third could be a color, which is require a good equipment, costly equipment, and that equipment require continuous air supply, cameras to monitor, to take care the of grading in a correct manner. We have some of the good equipment available into the market. This is equipment, high capacity pre-cleaner, which can manage your efficiency, which can manage your capacity. This equipment for the grain can go 50 tons per hour max, and the accuracy or the efficiency can be much more higher, because this is a multi sieve separator. You have 4 to 5 rubble sieves, or the bigger sieves, you have 4 to 5 smaller sieves. So you can manage your efficiency along with the uh, capacity. This is what it looks. It also have the aspiration, very compact equipment. The space required is very less. The cleaning efficiency is much more higher. Air is recycling aspirator, which in that means the requirement of air also comes down, because we use the air that is generated into the system. Another equipment is called as a combined cleaner. This combined cleaner is basically equipment that uses the 3 to 4 machine can work into the one equipment. What are those things? We talk about the size separation. Yes, it does the size separation. It also does the aspiration job. It also does the stoning of the destoning of the grain. It also helps in separating the grain onto the density basis. That means your grains are damaged due to the fungus. Your grains are not mature properly due to during the harvesting. So those grain damaged by physical, chemical, or the biological damage, not having equal density with the your healthy grain, can easily be removed by. So the one machine, many principles, many separations could be ideal for the uh, uh, all grain cleaning and grading system. Another equipment I would like to add here is the preconditioning. Most of the grain before it goes to the milling, whether you take an example of wheat, rice, pulses, majority of them goes prior to the milling into the treatment called as a pre-treatment, and this pre-treatment is essentially carried out to achieve your objective into the grain milling. Beginning only I have discussed your objective has to be very clear, then only you can decide your processing equipment. So the objective of this preconditioning pre-treatment is most of the time is to help in dehulling the outer seed coat or removal of the outer bran in terms of wheat, rice, maize. When you talk, we have to remove the bran and the germ component of the grain during the processing. And in case of pulses, you remove to seed coat before it is split into the dals. So to do that one, the appropriate treatment has to be carried out. And usually, traditionally, these treatments are carried out in a not very sophisticated manner. And this treatment is going to have influence onto your yield. Let me tell you, very important, the quantum of the product final yield you are going to get and the quality of the product what you are going to get. So this equipment has to be completely automated, and we have the choices of going with semi-automated, automated, completely automated machine. Could be one of the example I am showing here is water addition system with a sensor where continuous load can be detected. What is the initial moisture of the grain can be detected, what is the temperature, what is the density, and it does automatically calculate the amount of water and give signal to your system that okay, release the water 100 liter per hour or release the oil 10 liter per hour. So this changes as per your capacity changes, this changes as per your grain density changes, this changes as per your initial moisture content of the grain changes, and will take care of all the variables. So I suggest this could be one of the equipment or machine you should think when you are going for little more investment, because it is going to pay you in terms of gaining the moisture, getting the yield, and the quality of a product into your system. The another very important equipment today we follow into the all the grain milling. Today, without this equipment, we cannot really see milling is happening. That is a color sorter. The color sorter, I don't want to go into the principle. It has the feeding system, inspection system, and the ejection system. But the color sorters have a lot of application. When you are talking about the application of the color sorter, the when you compare between the wheat, the other grain, or maybe the rice and pulses, in the rice and pulses, this equipment comes before packing of your grain. So after the milling, it is not part of the cleaning section. Once you do the dehulling of the rice, then polishing, and after grading, before it goes to the packing, you use the color sorter. Similarly, it is having application into the dal mill. Dal mill also, when it do the polishing, splitting, polishing, and before it goes to the packing, we have the color sorter. So let us talk about one of the example in the color sorter. Depending on your specific requirement, there are the cameras, dark cameras, which will take care of the impurities which is darker in nature. So you should decide which kind of cameras I want to have. So here some of the examples we can say rice, even though you have the white stocky grain, and that could not be ideal to be part of your finished product. So you can have the light camera which can separate out your light grain. You can have the dark camera, and you can select the camera as per your requirement. Similarly, we have the position of this equipment into the grain cleaning. So it is used into the grain cleaning for millet. It is used into the grain cleaning for the wheat. Even though if you talk about the maize, it is also used for the maize into the grain cleaning. So this equipment become the part of the cleaning section for this grain. But for the rice and the pulses, it becomes the equipment that goes at the end of the milling processing system before the packing. So this is what we have the picture for the rice, selected material, rejected material, and you can see a lot of rejection in case of a dark material is concerned. Very, very vitally important, because today we are moving from the refined flour to the whole grain flour. So always we talk about the whole grain is nutritious. I always put a question whether the whole grains are safe. No, they are not safe because we are eating the bran. The bran is most contaminated portion of the grain, and equipment like a color sorter really plays an important role to take it out the grain which is having the mycotoxins into it. Could be aspergillus, fusarium, dawn. All these mycotoxins have spread onto the surface, start with the surface, they discolor your grain, they change your density. So color can become an important a tool. Density can become an important tool where we can take it out these impurities during the cleaning section, and you can make safe. So another equipment is the surface cleaning. As I told you, when you talk about the safety, when you are using the whole grain, how you can compromise onto the little removal of the bran, not complete removal of the bran prior to the processing, and
Sorry
that's
to
the
interrupt
sake of.
you, sir. Sir, please complete the presentation in
Yeah,
10
yeah, no,
minutes.
yes.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah, thanks a lot for the opportunity. There are many things. I think sometime you can keep the lecture in a little bigger manner so that I can reach to the customers. Please do visit CF Terra, CSR, CF Terra. We have a lot of technology into the all grain processing, millet processing plants in terms of primary, secondary, and tertiary processing is also concerned. Uh, we have a lot of technology. We take the project uh, uh, with the smaller group to the big industry. And for anything, you can contact our department, TTBD department at CF Terra. So thank you very much for patient listening.
Thank you so much, sir, for the valuable presentation. Now we are moving towards our next technical session, which is on emerging trends in pulse processing.
Okay.
For this session, we have with us Dr. C.T. Ramachandra, Professor, Department of Agriculture
button.
Engineering, US, Bangalore.
Okay.
I welcome you, sir, in this. Thank you for accepting our invitation.
one,
This
sir?
session is over to you.
Yes, sir, you can start.
Sir, please unmute yourself, sir. Sir, please unmute yourself.
Yeah, yeah. I'm
Yes,
audible now?
Yes, sir, you're audible, sir.
Yeah, thank you very much. Sorry, there was some technical problem. Respected Joint Secretary, Director, audience, and the organizers, thank you very much. And now today I'm going to talk about the emerging trends in pulse processing. Next slide, please. So the emerging trends in pulse processing, I will be talking about from efficient dal milling to smart fractionation, plant proteins, and the circular processing. Next, please. So why this pulse processing is changing in the sense because of this nutrition, the convenience, sustainability, digitization, and the value addition. So the basically the nutrition aspects like the protein, fiber, micronutrients, and other things are very much important. The with respect to convenience is concerned, we can have the ready to cook, the instant, the extruded, and the pulse based food also we can. Then the sustainability comes, the lower water, energy, and the waste utilization, higher utilization of every fraction is very important, and then digitization and the value addition. Because of these three reasons, the pulse processing is changing drastically. Next, please. So the process, basically the pulse processing technology evolution. When we talk about the pulse processing, evolution, the traditional milling, the mechanized milling, automated sorting and the control, then the advanced fractionation, smart plus circular biorefinery. Then the focus has moved from improving dal recovery to designing the multiple high value product streams. Then the dry and hybrid fractionations are increasingly important for sustainable protein ingredients. Next, please. So the modern pulse processing flow chart, when we talk about, then we have a basically the cleaning, grading, conditioning, dehulling and splitting, milling and polishing, fractionation and value added products. So we have these conventional core products like the dal, whole pulses, flour and the broken fractions, whereas the advanced branch includes the protein rich flour, concentrates, isolates and starch. Coming to circular branch, we have the hull fiber, co-products, feed and the bio-based material, and this is the modern pulse processing the flow sheet. Next, please. So this is the dry milling and wet protein isolation. We can see number one is the dry milling, pea flour and a pea protein concentrate, and the pea protein and the isolate through the wet isolation. So both the advanced techniques like dry milling and the wet isolation is possible with this pulse processing ingredients and the potential applications with respect to dry and wet isolation. Next, please. So coming to this advanced cleaning and precision separation, we have a high efficiency aspiration and destoning, reduce the mineral and the foreign material load. Then magnetic separation targets the ferrous contamination. And if you see the precision cleaning train, cleaning is very important. That is the raw pulse. Then we get the optical sorting. Lot of innovations are also happening with respect to the machineries are concerned. So advanced equipments and machineries are also very much important in the pulse processing. Next, please. Then optical sorting and the machine vision, when we talk about three important things, the detect, decide and the act. These three are very important. That's especially the optical sorting and machine vision, the camera sensor, image capture, the feature extraction, the AI classifier and the reject or accept. So nowadays, the most of the machines, when we talk about the automation, the artificial intelligence applications in the advanced pulse processing, we have the AI classifiers. Basically, they detect, decide and the act, and the sorter sees precisely, and separation takes place. Next, please. Then we also have the AI enabled quality assessment, especially the raw pulse images we get, then the features, size, color and shape will get. The machine learning model also we can develop. Then quality grade, the process set point, all these things are possible. AI quality decision loop, especially this will be very much useful in quality assessment. The AML tools these days are very much useful in the pulse processing quality estimation. Next, please. Then precision grading and size classification is also very important, especially the size grading, the shape or the density and the process linkage, especially the grade specific processing. We have the large grade, uniform size, medium grade and the small grade. So this thing are very important. That is the precision grading and the size classification are very much important. Next, please. Then we coming to precision conditioning. Conditioning is also very important. The moisture is a process variable, not just a storage parameter. The controlled conditioning we can also do in the advanced pulse processing. Basically, the moisture or the water removal through equilibration process. Then the initial moisture content then the controlled water addition, equilibration, target moisture, and dehulling. So which definitely helps in getting the good quality product, the end product. Next, please. So advances in coming to the advances in dehulling unit operation, we have the abrasive systems, impact are the friction materials and the hybrid approaches. Both the pre-treatment and dehulling aspiration can improve the separation, the process efficiently. Next, please. So improving the dal recovery and reducing the breakage is very, very important. If you see the saleable dal about 82% and the broken is 8% and the husk and fines is about 10%, then improved dal recovery and reducing the breakage, the engineering objective is to maximize the saleable product while protecting the quality. We have the optimized feed, gentle dehulling, then controlled conditioning. When you see this optimized feeding, then controlled conditioning, gentle dehulling, accurate splitting, selective polishing, then high head dal recovery is also possible. Next, please. Then energy efficient pulse milling is very, very important these days with respect to emerging trends. Nowadays, the energy and water, I will also talk about the next slide about the water. The efficiency is increasingly measured as a product recovery per unit energy. So here you can see how much of energy is spent on each of the operations. For example, cleaning 20%, dehulling is 35%, splitting is about 20%, and milling is about 25%. Of the total energy. Okay, energy monitoring by unit operation process. Next, please. Then water saving and dry processing. When we talk about the wet and dry processing in pulse milling, the energy saving and dry milling is very, very important. Makes a sense here in order to save the water. And previously energy saving and water saving are two important things, that is dry fractionation, low water routes, then the hybrid routes. These two are very important, that is dry and wet process. In between we can have the hybrid process also to save the water in the dry processing. Next, please. Then advanced polishing and the product finishing, we have this packaging, grade separation, aspiration or dust removal, selective polishing, controlled surface cleaning, controlled abrasion is also possible. Then finished product quality depends on the surface quality and the yield also. Next, please. Then dry fractionation of the pulse proteins are concerned. We have the dehulled pulses, starch rich coarse fraction, then fine milling is possible, then protein rich fine fraction, then air classification is also very important. Then emerging enhancement, why it matters, the dry fractionation means dry fractionation is solvent free and can preserve more native protein functionality. Then whereas the emerging enhancement is the sieving, electrostatic separation, and hybrid fractionation can improve the purity also. Next, please. Then wet and hybrid protein fractionation, if you see the operations here, when we get the floor, then the protein solubilization, then the clarification can be done, then precipitation or membrane separation, washing and drying. So these are all the various operation, the high purity but greater process complexity, that is wet and hybrid protein fractionation is also happening in this process. Next, please. So this is the process, flow chart. You can also see various operations, how, for example, if you take a field P, how various advanced processing technologies are done here, especially in this particular process, the extrusion, including the classification, wet milling, the complete process flow diagram. Next, please. Then emerging extraction technologies, we have this ultrasound processing, pulsed electric field, cold plasma processing, then the high pressure processing. So these are all the advanced processing technologies one can adopt in processing of these the pulses, especially the emerging extraction technologies. Next, please. Then if you see the process intensification process, the pulse floor technology is also very important. What are all the operations? Here you can see the dehulling, milling, particle size control, functional treatment, and the pulse floor. And we have the various applications like bakery products. Engineering focus is mainly on the particle size, starch damage, water absorption, then the opportunities to tailor floor functionality to the target food rather than using a one generic floor. So this is the pulse floor technology process. Next, please. Then extrusion processing of the pulses is also very important. We can have this pulse floor protein, then conditioning, extruder, heat plus shear, then structured product will get. The extrusion processing technology is very, very important. Wherein we can get newer products, varieties of the products through this technology. Next, please. So here the plant-based meat and pulse proteins is also another area of the emerging area, wherein we can get the plant-based meat or the analogs from the pulses. That is the analogs from the pulses we can manufacture various ingredients. You can also see from this presentation here, that is the ingredient, the process, and the target, then structured foods and formulation. So this is there is a lot of scope for the pulse analogs also in the emerging trends. Next, please. Then germination and fermentation is also another area wherein we get advanced value-added products like bioprocessing is being integrated with the mechanical processing. For example, soaking, germinate, ferment, and dry, which increases the digestibility. Then selected anti-nutrients is also possible. Then potential benefits are also like improved digestibility, alternate flavor, then other things. So you can also see the process flow chart here. Then we get the pulses, soaking and activation, germination, drying, and milling ingredient is also possible. Next, please. Then reducing the anti-nutritional factors. So anti-nutritional factors, how can we reduce? That's very important here. Then processing increasingly targets the nutrition as well as the physical quality. For example, like the phytate, tannins, trypsin inhibitors, and oligosaccharides. All these processing strategies target the digestibility and gastrointestinal tolerance. Next, please. Then coming to non-thermal processing of the pulse ingredient, we have the high pressure processing, cold plasma, ultrasound. Whether the non-thermal tool is fit for the pulses, yes, definitely. We can have this extract, we can modify, we can stabilize. Also, the non-thermal processing technologies definitely helps to preserve the nutritional composition with respect to advanced processing technologies are concerned. Next, please. Then utilization of the byproduct is another area. The co-products, basically the hull and bran, broken grains, protein-rich fines, starch-rich fractions, then processing residues. All these things can be converted into fiber, feed, starch, and bioactives, and energy conversion is also possible. So this is another emerging area wherein the utilization of the pulse byproduct is happening. Next, please. Then another important area is circular pulse processing. We can see the pulse biorefinery, for example, the food products, the higher value from the co-product, then protein ingredients we can get higher value from the co-products, then fiber and feed also we can get, then starch or bio products we can also get. Then this particular area of circular pulse processing is an emerging area. Every fractionation becomes a product stream. basically we need to concentrate on energy, food, fiber, and the protein is concerned with respect to pulses. Next, please. Then coming to smart pulse processing plant, definitely nowadays we all talk about the sensors, automation, artificial intelligence, and all those things. And definitely this is the another area, the smart pulse processing plant. We can have the sensors, PLC control, data platform, AI analytics, automatic set points, then quality feedback. All these things, we can incorporate into the pulse processing line, and definitely to get the good and good quality product and co-product. Next, please. Then digital traceability and industry 4, that is connecting raw material processing and the product quality. We have a farm or FPO processing, quality, market, all these things. That is the digital traceability chain in pulse processing. Basically, digital traceability chain, for example, market, mill, and all those things, especially in Karnataka, we have a lot of pulse growing area here in Gulbarga, Kalaburgi region, Bidar, Raichur, and all. So wherein this traceability is very, very important. Next, please. Next, please. Then future research priorities basically on the precision milling, AI sensors, the better milling practices, novel ingredients, the AI plus sensors, hybrid fractionation, circular biorefinery. These are all the another areas of the priorities for the proper industry as well as the research scope. Next, please. Yeah, finally, the take-home message is the pulse processing is moving from milling efficiency to intelligent value creation, better raw material, then the smarter milling, then the sustainable fractionation, then the new products is possible, then circular processing. Ultimately, the next generation of the pulse plants will combine the mechanical engineering, food science, digital technologies, and the bioprocessing. Dry and hybrid fractionation are central to the growth of the sustainable pulse protein ingredients. The strategic goal is to have a higher recovery, better nutrition, lower resources use, plus the more value per ton of the produce. Thank you very much. If you have any questions, please let me know. Otherwise, I can answer you later also. I can reply. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir, for coming and giving such an elaborative presentation. It is very knowledgeable also, and I hope some participants clarify their answers also. So now we are moving towards the next technical talk, which is on innovative packaging solution. For this session, we have with us Mr. Irmaya Kadamgiri, Technical Officer, IIP Chennai. I welcome you, sir, and thank you for accepting our invitation. The session is over to you, sir. Thank you. Please unmute yourself, sir.
Yes, yes. Yeah, thank you, ma'am, for your kind introduction. And also, I thanks MOFPI and Niftam Tanjavur to giving IAP the great opportunity to be a knowledge partner on this very familiar webinars, and where we can share our experiences and the different packaging techniques. So yeah, I'll share the presentation since we have a time constraint. So I'll go fast. I hope slide is visible, ma'am.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay. So I think now I think so far you've been listening to the all the processing techniques and advancements and the maybe some of the regulations. Maybe so that is the very primary stage, primary process of your the processing of your maybe the cereals and pulses and millets. But after that, so whatever the hygiene you are maintaining, what are the system you are following, what are the maybe hygiene practice you are doing within your the premise. So that is one stage. But once the product goes out, then if you want to retain the same quality or same safety, the food safety throughout the distribution and the transportation, maybe at the consumer level. So again, this packaging is plays a great role. Okay, so today just I would very since the time is very short, so I would like to just take you through the brief about the so what is the packaging means. So then, in order to select or the proper packaging for the cereals, the pulses and the millets, then what are the basic knowledge we need to have, basic understanding of the packaging, so that we can decide, or you can maybe design, maybe you can develop some packaging materials. Then we can see some of the current or new trends on innovative packagings for these pulses, and what are they now currently the major the common packaging the techniques it is used by the industry current days. Okay, so first of all, you can see the packaging. So when we say the packaging, its packaging is the science, art, and technology. So it's the three things are involved. It's a science also is there. Art science means it's a knowing about the product. Then product, the what is the shelf life of the product. So what is the chemistry of the product? What is the nature of the product? So like how then how long it's going to be stay? Like what are the different hazards are there? Maybe chemical hazards, biological hazards, maybe some environmental hazards. So what are the different hazards are there? So then when we know about the product, then that knowledge also is necessary to develop the packaging. And then art, again, design. So design and art is another way of the attracting or maybe attracting the consumers, maybe giving the consumer satisfaction, maybe good feel, maybe good attention to the product. Then again, there are different technologies are used. So technology also is important. Again, to increase the shelf life, maybe to increase the branding value, image. Then again, some technologies are there. I think maybe in the coming slides we'll see some of the technologies which we can be adopted for these pulses and the millets. Okay, so basically the packaging will it's protect the product, and also it preserves the maintains the quality, freshness, safety, and shelf life. And also this packaging helps to present your product in a better way, and by which in the name in the form of the through the label. So it gives the information, and also sometimes it makes the convenience to the customer, and sometimes it will attractive to the customer's eyesight, so that he can easily buy it. So total, that's what the packaging is very essential. So far you have seen the processing part. So whatever the hygienic practice you have maintained, whatever the certification you may be having in your premise, maybe ISO 22000, BRC certificate, maybe FSSC 22000, but still once the product comes out of your premise, here we have seen this these packaging is enclosing or protecting products for distribution, the storage, the sale, and customer usage, while maintaining the product quality and safety. So in every stage, the packaging is going to retain the quality and the safety of the product, whatever you have designed and planned. Okay, so in order to develop the packaging, so these are the basic idea we need to have it. We need to have this some ideas about the marketing, how like what is the marketing trend, so what design, what the pack size their customer is demanding, what type of packaging materials the customer preferring. Like nowadays we see that there are sustainable packaging, biodegradable packaging, eco-friendly packaging, but what customer wants, so that idea you need to have it. Then what is the like a consumer pack, whether it is what is the quantity. Then again the regulatory requirement, you should know it before developing the packaging. That also will help us, because as the ma'am was covering the regulation part, so even the packaging regulation is there. FS Food Safety Standards Packaging Regulation 2018. So then what are the packaging material you are going to use it for these pulses and the millets? So that has to in compliance with the regulatory requirements. So what are the qualities? For example, the plastics if we take. So you should compliance the migration overall and specific migration limits. Then what are the plastics you are going to use it? So there are some quality parameters are given in the that packaging regulation, so that it has to meet that. So that awareness you should have it. Then again, if you are into the local market, there are local for example, the plastic waste management rule is there. That what is it, like thickness of the plastic, even recyclability, eco-friendly, sustainable packaging. So all these related to these, what are the regulations are there? We should know about it regarding labeling. And it's not that whatever you want you can print on the packaging. No, again you need to refer the labeling and labeling regulation, the display and labeling regulation, the advertisements and claims regulation. There are different, even legal metrology act is there. So then we need to have all these things in order to, before developing the packaging. Then R&D, if you are into the R&D, then you need to know the R&D, why you are doing it. So what are the areas you are going to develop it. So according to the R&D, then we can do the best develop the packaging. Then we need to have the good idea about the supply chain, where it's going to be stored, how long it's going to be stored, at what temperature, what condition it's going to be stored, how, in what condition it's going to be transported or exported. Okay, then what is the like end use, intended use. Then the supply chain, you need to, what is the mode of transportation. So by having these basic ideas, you can develop the better packaging. So these are the normal different forms of the packaging. The paper and paper boards are used. Even some of the uh, packaging, some of the food products, yes, even millets also, the paper based, the cardboards, carton boxes are there, labels and tags, even the plastics in the form of bags, wrappers, pouches, cartons, bottles, tubs, crates. Okay, even the millet also nowadays, I think many forms the millet came, as a cookies, as a cakes, as a butter, as a millet, even millet tea, millet coffee is available, millet tea is available. So there are different millet juices are available. So I think the plastics are also widely used in these pulses and millets packaging. The laminate pouches are there in different forms: stand-up pouch, maybe single, the plain pouches, maybe window type pouches where your products are visible. Okay, these are the some of the forms of packaging. The glass bottles are used traditionally for all these pulses and the other the billets, the bottles, jars, jugs. Okay, the tin plates also. Nowadays, I think many people are there adopting the tin cans. Okay, with these some of the roasted, even roasted flax seeds, and you might have seen in the markets also. So it's a tin cans are available now, because those are comes are glass, tin. These comes under the eco-friendly packaging. So in order to avoid the plastic, now people are switching over to this kind of packaging. These are the options are there. Okay, then aluminum cans, bottles. Okay, then the jute bags in the traditionally people used to their woven sacks. All these the grains and the pulses, and even if it is a you want to pack 25 bag, 25 kg, 50 kg. Yes, these woven PP bags are used, and the LDP, HDP bags are used. Paper bags are there. Then aluminum pouches are there, laminate pouches are there, the liner sacks are there. So nowadays, I think because of in order to support the sustainable packaging, so biodegradable films have come up. So now this is the, I think as per the packaging food safety standards packaging regulation. So they have the schedule 4 as a suggestive packaging materials list is given. So under that, this serial number 5, the cereals and the cereal products. So these are the common uh, the packaging material, suggestive packaging materials. It's not a mandatory, but as a guide, you can use it as a suggestive packaging materials only. But you can get some idea what are the different types of packaging materials are used for the cereals and cereal products. So this is the information you can get as a your guide from the our food safety standards packaging regulation 2018. Okay, so these are some of the examples we can see how these millets and the pulses are available in the markets. The different types of millets in the form of like a ragi laddu. So in the containers, container millet muruku. Again, the laminates is coming out. If it is a biscuits, again sometimes in between inside there is a trace are there. Again, it is wrapped with the laminate. Then again, millet noodles are there, millet cookies. Again, the millet milk. Again, the Tetra packs are used for the millet cookies. Okay, so what are the now general packaging materials are used, designs are used for other cookies and other materials. The same thing is adopted for the your millets based products, again millet powder. So I think generally these plastic laminates and the cardboards and the containers are widely used. Okay, I think nowadays this all these flax seeds and some roasted seeds. I think people nowadays now they are in order to increase their branding, they are adopting the tin cans. Okay, so these are the some of the some packaging techniques like a controlled atmosphere packaging, then modified atmosphere packaging, then antimicrobial packaging, and smart packaging. So what is a controlled atmosphere packaging? So for the pulses and cereals, millets, so we can use this. This is like we can control the atmosphere by using some maybe uh, either we can maybe adding some components or we can releasing or controlling it. So we can but we need to know about the as the packaging definition itself says that we need to know about the product. If you don't know about the product nature, like what is the spoiling factors, what is the uh, uh, factors which can spoil this, that what are the different atmosphere conditions are required or suitable for these the pulses, cereals, and millets. So first of all, we should know that. Then accordingly, then we can. There are different products and different devices are available in the market where you can control the maybe related to the gases. It can be controlled. If you want to release some gases, yes, still it can be it can be monitored. It can be absorbed. Some like for example, vegetables, the ethylene gases are evolved. So then ethylene scavengers are used. There are sometimes so that's how that we can control atmosphere so that we can increase the shelf life. Again, it can reduce the oxidation and insect activities also. It can control the carbon dioxide. It helps suppress the insects and the microbial growth. Because for these pulses and cereals, this insects is another major problem. So that's how we can control these things. Then this cap advantage is that it extends the storage life and it reduces the insect infestation, and maybe it increases the retention of the nutritional quality. Means it will retain the same property. Then it reduces the rancidity if it is a processed food, processed cereals like this moong dal, all these the processed cereals and pulses are there. Then to reduce the acidity, it can help. Then again the lower the post-harvest losses. Okay. Yeah, then another technique is the MAP, modified atmosphere packaging. So here, so what are the packaging we are doing it within the same thing? Then we can if you modify something, some atmosphere, still that life will be increased. Okay, so this is generally you can know that examples are that it benefits of this map is it reduces acidity because sometimes in order to map, so we flush the nitrogen gases, so where natural gases come out and the nitrogen will be there. So that's how it reduces the acidity, and again it also protects from the insects and better quality retention. Then this is one of the example, the vacuum packaging. So nowadays currently the major all these pulses and the other the metals are they are using this vacuum packaging. So as compared to normal packaging, so vacuum packaging again still it will be adding to your the shelf life, increase the shelf life. Okay, the material will be same only, but here that you are using the vacuum packaging. This also one of the example for the modified atmospheric packaging. Then this is another way is the gas flushing. Sometimes we can flush the nitrogen gas to arrest the reduce the acidity, and also sometimes if you are using the millets cookies or millets some laddus, maybe some if it is a nature is very soft and very fragile, which is easily breakable, then we can use like millets cookies chips are there, millet chips you want to pack it. Then again as like other potato chips, then the millet chips also then we can use it for this gas flushing in order to increase the shelf life also, in order to retain the shape of the your product. Again another innovative packaging is antimicrobial packaging, because these cereals and pulses are prone to insecticides, and so that's what I think it's a very important I think nowadays in the market it is available, antimicrobial packaging. Either this is sometimes it will be incorporated in packaging itself, in the extrusion itself, in the film itself they will incorporate it, or sometimes as a sachet they will introduce some coating they will give. So there are different forms of antimicrobial properties can be increased or added to the packaging materials. So it is inhibits the growth of the pathogenic and spoils microorganisms, and so that you will extend the shelf life. Okay. Yeah, then the types of antimicrobial packagings are the sachets or pads and direct incorporation sometimes into polymers. Even the polythene itself, they will incorporate it. With some additives, they will add it. Sometimes some polymers, they will add chitosan and polylysine. And sometimes as a coating, they will use it. There are the smart, intelligent packaging. So if your pulses and cereals are maybe some insects are affected, then how we will know that? If any, because as you know that these millets products and these pulses cereals, it's all related to very sensitive to the oxygen and the moisture. Then if you want to use know the what is inside the moisture, then how, because the moisture again it will it is like a helps to support the growth of the microorganisms and the insects. So that's what I think. If you we can There are different devices and indicators are available, so to identify, to know the what is the moisture inside, what is the oxygen percentage inside. Then again the time temperature indicators are there. Sometimes some of the products are like sensitive to the temperature also. So in order to know the temperature, you can use these smart packagings. This also sometimes all these indicators are used. The benefits are it gives the warning of the food safety, then reduce the losses. Sometimes we'll know the what is happening inside the packaging, because without opening the package, still inside what is happening. So what is the conditioning? What is the changes in the pH? What is the changes in the moisture? What is the changes in the gas combination, the formulations? So what is the gas are evolving? Maybe what is the gas? What is the chemical? What is we have applied? Whether it is still retained or not, so it will be there. Okay. So then another thing is that eco-friendly. Nowadays everyone think about the sustainable packaging, eco-friendly packaging. So that's what now the demand of the if you design packaging which is eco-friendly, then again very smart and convenient, and it is easily reusable, recyclable. Nah? So it's easily servable. Then yes, that's what we can contribute to the sustainable packaging. Okay. So this is the one like a in order to avoid the plastic and other things. If you are planning completely with the natural available packaging materials, with the windows and where you can see the products also, where you can print nicely with your millets and or give all the informations, maybe use these kind of naturally available materials. So I think this is now the future trend now. So if you can develop these kind of designs and the packaging materials, yes, now this is the whole world is demanding and its needs in order to support the environment friendly and eco-friendly packaging. I think these are the basic again what are the packaging material you choose this, maybe since it is a food application, whether you use it for the paper and the paper board, plastic, metal, maybe glass packaging. So all this packaging material, the quality, it should be compliance as per the food safety standards packaging regulation. They have given the schedule 1, schedule 2, schedule 3, some quality parameters requirements for all these type of any paper, whether you use the paper or plastic or metal. So some quality parameters are given in the regulation. I think you can refer to the packaging regulation. So then since it is a food application, so it has to be food grade. So then it has to be complies as the quality as per the packaging regulation. Okay. So yes, these are the basic if you have this basic idea, then you can develop the better packaging for the better the future, which can support the sustainability and eco-friendly and the nature friendly the packaging, which can be reusable, recyclable, and reducing the cost and the pollution. Okay. Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir, for this wonderful presentation on packaging. And thank you for coming, sir. Now we are moving to the next sessions, which is on from farm to market. We are inviting the Mrs. Amrita Datta, Marketing Head, MTR Foods, Okra India Private Limited, Bangalore. Thank you for accepting our invitation, ma'am. And the session is over to you.
Hi, everyone. Can you see my screen?
Yes, sir, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Great. So I'll take you through, so far you have heard about food processing, packaging, etc. Now I'll take you through how to take it actually from the farm to the market. We'll cover why branding matters, what are the market opportunities that are there, how do you go about creating a brand, and then I'll talk about some practical lessons and entrepreneurial challenges that you might face and how to solve them. So why branding matters is because it helps you command a premium. If you see the flow from here, if you go from left to right, what you'll realize is as you go from grain to process to value added to branded, the premium that you can command from a consumer and the margins that you can earn for yourself significantly increase. Hence, it makes sense to have a branded product which is properly positioned, packaged, and marketed to a defined consumer to differentiate it from other players, which is what the consumer will play for. Now, how do you decide what to do in branding? The first step that you would want to do is to talk to consumers, figure out what their behaviors are, what they are eating, what they are buying, what kind of labels are they reading, what are their needs in life. You group them by needs and then you prioritize the high value segments. So just to give you an example, so for example, if you're trying to market a cereal product, and if you would have talked to enough number of consumers, you would have understood that there would be maybe 3 or 4 cohorts of consumers that you would have figured out. So first would be a health conscious, maybe a health conscious urban buyer who's reading labels, who wants low GI, high fiber or protein, clean ingredients, etc. There could be a second group of consumers who could be a convenience seeker who does not have the time to cook or the will to cook. So she is looking for ready to cook mixes, quick prep snacks, etc. There could be another set which is a heritage or a nostalgia buyer. So these are people who want to go back to how things were there in the past, how their moms or grandmoms cooked, etc. There could be a family buyer or who's a value seeker. So these are people who are price sensitive. They want quantity. They are more concerned about what is it that they are getting for the money that they are spending. Now, out of these cohorts, you would then prioritize which is the segment that gives you the most value. And then you decide that, okay, this is the consumer segment or the target group that I am going to chase. And hence, what is the product that I then come to? So when you are trying to build a new product, so you have identified what is the consumer section that you're talking to, then you decide to build a product. So you go with multiple ideas. So for example, to the health conscious person, you can go and say that I'm giving you a high fiber, high protein, ready to cook meal, or I'm giving you something that is good for your gut. So you decide, you validate 3-4 ideas, you check which is the one that is gaining more interest, and then you develop the product. How you develop is you come to a recipe, you do shelf life trials, you do nutrition analysis, and then you also, obviously it is food, so your sensory, the taste of the product, the smell of the product, the color of it, all of those have to deliver. So you test these with these consumers, and then you come to a conclusion on, okay, this is the product that I want to launch. Of course, with all of this, when you are doing, you have to ensure compliance, which basically means your FSSAI licensing has to be there, your labeling norms have to be followed, weights and measures have to be followed, and your quality certifications have to be in place. So this is on the product. Now, how you turn it into a brand? So first, so for example, I have decided that I want to make a brand of ready to cook dosa mixes. Okay. How do you name the product? A name has to have certain, a meaning that a consumer can derive out of it. It has to have authentic story. So if I say that, okay, I am giving you the most authentic dosa from Tanjavur. Do I position it on health, heritage, convenience? Depends on what consumer segment I have chosen. So for example, I am going behind young mothers who are trying to, get healthy food to their family. So then will I speak on health? Will I speak on convenience? Will I talk about the high quality ingredients that have gone into it? That is your positioning. After that, you build on the visual identity. So again, if I say that I am making dosa mixes from Tanjavur, I will then talk about, how do I depict Tanjavur in a way so that it is distinct to the consumer. And then do I give a brand promise, which is about, if I'm saying a health conscious consumer, then I have to, instead of just saying healthy dosa mixes, probably I should say no maida, I should say no palm oil, something that cues to this consumer that this is great for my family, which is that's the only way your consumer will pay a premium for it. Then you bring it onto packaging. So the previous speaker spoke about how you protect and inform in terms of how you use packaging to protect the product from moisture, pests, etc., etc. You also have information on the packaging, which is about FSSI logo. You give a nutrition panel, all of that. But it is also about how well you can sell the product. So what color it is, have you given a transparent window, have you made it stand out on the shelf, will help you command a premium. Once your packaging is in place, then you move to pricing. How do you price it? There can be several models, some of which could be, cost plus. This is 100 rupees I have incurred on it. I will sell it at 120 rupees. I will earn a 20% margin. Or do I see what are the other dosa mix brands that are there in the market and I price slightly lower or higher depending on what my positioning is. It could be penetration pricing, where I want to enter more number of households, so I will give it at a much cheaper price so that more number of households build. So all of this will be determined by what is your strategy for the product, which consumer segment do you want to target, and overall, how do you want to take your business. From there, you then decide what are the trade channels that you want to go to. So will it sell in your normal general mom and pop stores? Will it sell in modern trade and quick commerce? Will it be a Horeca pack which goes to hotels, restaurants, or will I export it? So you decide on this, and depending on this, then you decide on your media channels. So will I talk about it on TV? If it is a very large product expected to go to every household, then you talk about it on TV. Or you start small with an Instagram. You start small with using influencers, nutritionists to talk about it, and then you do a performance ads basis, whether your objective is to build it as a D2C site. So if me as a consumer wants to buy it off a website, then how do I build that business? And then to create as much sampling and trials of the product, you do activations. It could be offline, it could be experiential. You could give it, for example, you have quick commerce apps, you give it as a free sample with other products that these consumers are also buying. So all of that channel opens up depending on which consumer you are targeting. So yeah, I think that covers it. I'm keeping it very short because I understand it's almost time for the session to end, but some practical lessons from the industry would be: lead with a real story. You have to have a core benefit in place, not just the nutrition panel, because every brand has a nutrition panel. How you tell that story is where you command the premium. Protect quality and consistency from batch to batch, because one bad pack undoes years of trust. If you get one consumer complaint, that consumer will tell 10 other consumers, etc., etc. So that can really backfire on you. Start with one strong channel instead of going all out. So you decide that if my sales channel will be a quick commerce app, you, for the first year and a half, you go solely behind the quick commerce platforms and try to sell there. Or if you decide, okay, I will only export, then you go behind only export. Treat packaging as marketing asset, not just a container. There is a lot of decision that a consumer makes when a person sees the pack. It is not just the nutrition panel. So be as clear in your communication on the pack as possible. Build a feedback loop with early consumers, and then in case they have feedback and you need to make changes in the product, that you keep doing. And then collaborate as much as possible. Since it's food, it could be nutritionists, chefs, local retailers, FPOs, etc., which will help you to gain further understanding in the category, and hence, how do you take it forward? So yeah, this is where I'll end the session. This is a summary of what all I have talked about. In case there are any questions, please feel free to drop it now or send me a mail later.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for the wonderful presentation. And thank you for coming in the webinar also.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Now we will start the third technical session on PMFME entrepreneur experience sharing. Before starting the session, I request all the participants to click on the feedback form, and for certificate, please click on the assessment link to get the certificate. Now we are moving to the last but not the least technical talk, which is on cereals, millets, and pulses experience sharing. Now I would like to invite Mrs. Subhashini Dharmendra, Sadvik Nutri Best Private Limited, Millets and Minutes, Madurai, I welcome you, ma'am, in this, and thank you for accepting our invitation. The session is over to you, ma'am. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Shubhashini the Saudambiga, founder and CEO of Millet and Minutes. My brand name is Millet and Minutes. When you think of millets, you can eat it in a minute. That's the brand name. So, first of all, I thank NIFTM for giving me this opportunity, and thank you for everyone. And my journey, so it started in 2011. So when I had a patient to make something in millets, I started with the cookies. My journey till today is with the cookies only. All the millet products we make into ready to eat and ready to cook products. So nowadays people know what is the health benefit of millet. So we make all the millet value added products. So my journey as a PMFME beneficiary. Here I am today to share my experience as a PMFME beneficiary. Starting what I happened is when I got to know how we can make some cookies out of this finger millet and pearl millet, everything. What happened? I could not. I go to bakery, rent the bakery for an hour, and I used to make that. But I started getting more and more orders. I don't know how to handle. Then comes the story of PMFME. I got a chance to get a loan over there. I got my rotatory oven. I got my wire cutting, dough mixture, everything. And then I started preparing my millet cookies. There I improved my packaging also. I started branding also. Then my product started. People got to know about this millet and minutes cookies. So I am making without any maida, white sugar, any chemicals or icing agent. It's only the flour which I mix and I bake it and I take it. So my product shelf life is 3 months because there is no added preservative. Even if you eat after 3 months also, there is no harm in it. This is how I have been grown with the PMFME beneficiary scheme. It is really a good help from the PMFME team. They offered us this loan. With that, I got all the machineries. I started manufacturing. Now, no more and more connections I am getting today. So I am making and supplying cookies to everyone inside Tamil Nadu, Pan India, and more export orders also I am getting now. The one more product which I have made now is this my millet Nutri Bar. This is 20 gram of bar which gives 6 grams of protein only. Only 3 ingredients. It's millet crisps and then jaggery, peanut. With this, I have made this bar. This 20 gram of bar gives 6 grams of protein. This is also I am manufacturing. And then I make all this traditional millet sweets and snacks. My mixture is really wonderful. That's without any gram flour and rice flour. And this I have ready to eat product. I have pasta and noodles. And then I have my chapati mix, dosa mix. In this, I have mixed 70% of millet. So you will get the goodness of easily. And then the next is millet rava, millet flakes. So those who want 100% millet, they can go for this. So this is, we make in the traditional method, this millet flakes. And then with the traditional made millet flakes, I make this millet breakfast cereal. It is 60% dry fruits and nuts and then 40% millet flakes. So we combine together roasted and packed, no preservative. It's purely organic and 100% millet product. The next one is this when pongal mix and instant. In this world, everyone wants to eat good food, but in a convenient way, easy way. For that, we made this with the rava. We made instant when pongal mix. With the poha, we made it as instant. All the seasonings are added. Just add hot water. The product is ready. And then our multi millet tea. So we should drink tea also, but it should be healthy also. For that, we made multi millet tea. This is again 40% tea dust, 60% millet is there. So one, you have to make it ready as usual as tea, but you will get the goodness of millet and it will keep you full also. And this is ABC malt and health mix also with the millet. So health mix everyone knows from the origin. So we also make this health mix without any preservatives. So these are the products which I have grown after getting the PMFME scheme alone. I have developed my brand and I have made my company from proprietorship to private limited also. So we are happily going in this world of millets. I think that's it. Is there anything about?
Thank you so much, ma'am, for sharing the experience with us. Participants, we share the link, the assessment for certificate generation and feedback form link. We will have a 5 minutes time. So please fill the form and then we can go for the end of the session. Thank you. Thank you so much everyone for coming in this webinar. I hope participants might got the clarity of their all doubts. Now I would like to conclude remarks and vote of thanks. Thank you all the speakers and participants for joining the session. I hope this from this webinar you get the valuable knowledge and ideas for to start the business and how to prevent the product from the spoilage and everything. On behalf of NIFTM Tanjavur and PMFE team, I formally announce the webinar is over. Thank you all for joining with us. We will wait for 5 minutes and for the assessment link. So please, I request all the participants to fill the form and send it to us. Thank you.